The world ain't all sunshine and rainbows. It's a mean and nasty place, and I don't care how tough you are, it will beat you to your knees and keep you there permanently if you let it.
Welcome, fam, to the InsideOutrz podcast with me, Danny Lloyd, the man that took the I out of addict and now puts the Y in you.
And it's your boy, the Lock Dog. We have a very, very special guest with us this evening. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, guys, thank you. It's an honour to be here. So I'm Garry Wright. On social media, they call me TikTok Garry. I'm the owner of the Hope Cartel, professional hope dealer, no longer a dope dealer.
Nice. And it's been a very plum-pleasing pleasure and privilege to have you with us, Gazzy. Because it's not just been today, has it? You come over from Melbourne for the last 5 days nearly now.
Yeah, man, it's been good. You know, these boys got an awesome strategy over here.
Yeah.
So, you know, he's invited me out, you know, mad hospitality. And, yeah, man, we really got to spend some good time together, did some awesome things, grounded ourselves, you know, really got centered. Yeah, got to know each other well, man. So, you know, we sit here now to do this and super cool content.
It's going to be cool.
Yeah, we had a really good weekend leading up to it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and, you know, like you just said, we've had the pleasure of spending the last few days together. And as we've got to know you, it's just reaffirmed that we really need to share a lot of who Garry is outside of TikTok Garry with the world and with the listeners.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a really great episode.
Yeah, and I think that's really what we really wanted to do. I think this is your 20th podcast.
Oh, give or take, man. Yeah.
Well, you're in the tens of podcasts.
Yep.
And I'm sure in every other one, you know, there's always been, you know, quite a direction towards your past.
Yep.
What we've learned, or what I've learned definitely, and I'm sure Jordan has his own views in the last 4 or 5 days, is how much more you have to offer than just your past. And that's what we hope to bring out in this episode, is to contrast the man with the Hope Cartel that deals hope now, the person he is, the heart that he has, the way that he thinks, and the way that he now moves.
Yeah.
And that's the most important thing for us.
Cheers, guys, man. Yeah, it means a lot, you know. I just jumped in the deep end, you know, had to right my wrongs. Started pushing hope, man, and here we are today, you know, like, and still feel early days, you know. It feels like early days, it really does, but, you know, I found my purpose, you know.
Yeah.
It holds me accountable. You know, I love what I do. So once again, I thank you. It's an honour to push a positive message, man. And for people out there interested a bit more about what goes on behind the scenes with me before or soon to come with TikTok Garry and the Hope Cartel, well, let's talk about it, 100%.
Easy. All right, before we do, I'll get in quickly with our sponsors. We want to thank Killer Moe's, Mr. Dan Smith down in Moana Beach, for sponsoring us. He's got an amazing merchandise brand that he uses to go out and do some charitable things and some really cool stuff around in the community in Adelaide. So check him out on Instagram at Killer Moe's. And also want to thank our American sponsor, Mr. Ryan Ferrari of Bullhead, Arizona, for his amazing online platform, 5-Star Classified, where you can get to post anything you want for 99 cents, and there is no censorship, and you can do what you want when you want, because that's what he's about. Thank you to our sponsors. Let's get ready to rumble, Lock Dog.
All right, man. So like every episode we record, and the mission behind our podcast, it's plain, it's simple. Whether you're battling with mental health, addiction, or you've been in and out of the crime scene, the message stands as you too can change. And change always begins from the inside out. Hence, InsideOutrz is our brand. So why did you agree to come on this podcast, and what do you want the listeners to gain from tuning in?
Okay. First, why I come on the podcast was because, you know, I've got a lot going on in the last 18 months. And even before that, man, I've always had a good intuition. So, you know, life's been all about, once upon a time it was in a negative world, but now I've fine-tuned it for the positive world and doing the righty. But I've always had an intuition for leaning in to things that I should and leaning out of things that I shouldn't, you know. Like, you know, it's that frequency comes my way. Should I or shouldn't I, you know? Some things come my way, man. It's just a wall up, you know. I can't help it. But with you boys, I felt myself aligned. And so definitely, you know, I felt your vibe. I like what you're doing. And if people respect what I'm doing and I can see it's genuine, then it's a no-brainer for me to do the same back. So when you boys, he's actually come down, he's down in Melbourne, he's popped past, and we talked about, you know, heading up your way and doing this and all that. And when you popped down, man, we spent, I think, good hour on my front porch, just having a yarn, had a coffee
hour.
first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
And after that, the deal was sealed, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I was like, these guys are good guys, you know? I resonated with you, got to know a bit about you, you know a bit about us, and I could see you were passionate about my journey, you know? And, man, it's all about pushing a positive message, you know? Like, I come from, as a lot of people, you know, from a dark place, you know? Like, the gutter, man, straight up, come from the gutter, you know? And, you guys were all about, you know, me helping people get out of that position, because that's what I do now, you know. If I can change, anybody can, you know what I mean? Like, anybody can, like, there's no excuse, you know. I've been through the ringer back 10 times over, and I managed to fucking pull my socks up and get the job done, you know.
Yep.
And now I try to help other people, give them inspiration, and, you know, do my thing and push hope, not dope. And yous were all about it. Yous were like, yeah, well played, guys, you know. So yeah, man, it was cool. I'm like I said, it's dead set on. I'm stoked to push a positive message and link up with you boys and collab, and let's get it done. You know, it's awesome. I love it. And now, so the next question was, remind me about InsideOutrz. Is that right?
Now, what do you hope the listeners gain from this episode?
Okay. What do I hope? That, you know, just man, like I said, if I can change, anybody can. You know, I really think that's a big deal. You know, I can only talk about so many things, you know, because,
Of course.
you know, I don't want to get myself pinched, do I? You know, and there's a lot, you know, I've been caught for some things, but there's a lot of things I haven't been caught for.
Yep.
But, you know, I can talk about the stuff where it was painful, you know.
Yeah.
It was hard times where it hurt, you know, I hurt my loved ones. You know, I was very selfish at one stage in life, very greedy. And, you know, I put a lot of people through physical and emotional, you know, pain. And so if I can right them wrongs, if I can get out of that hole, and I can, you know, I've got some trust coming back my way, times 10, you know. A lot of people, you know, that I heard along the way, especially family, you know, they were shaking their head at me.
Yeah.
But now they're starting to look at me and go, man, you know, we believe in you, you know. So my message to anybody out there is listening to this, you know, I really don't give a fuck how dark and how deep and how bad it is. You
Yep.
know, that's a problem. Let's talk about the solution, you know, because if I can come up with a solution, then fuck, man, I'm just a fucking kid from the streets, you know.
Yep.
You know, fucking. So like, man, if I can change my ways and I can manage to fucking come up with a formula that worked for me,
Yep.
then fuck, man, no one's got any excuse in my book. So, you know, anybody listening, I really want them to know that, you know, I've sat there with my hands in my head. I understand that, you know, times are tough. This happened to me, rah, 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 rah. I get it. But let's talk about how you're going to fix it, you know?
Yep.
That's what it is. Yeah, so hopefully they can pick up what I'm putting down.
Yep.
They can see what I'm getting at, then that's all G, you know?
Yeah, and they think they definitely will. And on that, actually, I want to ask you something, which is also what I've learned over the weekend, one of your favourite lyrics from a Mad Child song. And you can interpret this how you want and run with this and explain what it means and if you want to share the bits of your story. But man becomes legend, legend becomes myth, myth becomes failure, that becomes gift.
Yep.
What does that mean to you?
Oh, man, so like, you know, in a dark time in life, I walked away from a life of crime. I packed up my bags, my bat and ball, and went home, you know. I was found not guilty on some charges that would put me away from anywhere for 15, 25 years. And it made me think again about life, you know, and I really, you know, that power and ego-driven, bravado, you know, greedy type lifestyle that got me in all the wrong places, hurt all the wrong people, ended up chewing me up and spit me out, man, you know. And when that happened, I turned my life on the back of crime. I thought, fuck this, I'm over it, you know. I'm done, I'm turning my back on it, you know. Life of crime ain't worth shit, you know. No amount of money, respect, whatever you want to call it, all that dumb shit, you know, all that materialistic shit is not worth going to prison for the rest of your life. No one will say it is. I don't care if you're Pablo Escobar.
No.
Put him away for the rest of his life, he's going to say, probably not a good idea, you know? No. It's so when that happened, I walked away and I found drugs, you know? And I found drugs and that. When I found drugs, because I never really used, like I didn't let it get out of hand growing up. I let the selling drugs get out of hand, but not the using, you know? It was when I walked away from a life of crime that I started using. And when I started using, man, it became a really hard time in life, you know? And so I tried to hurt myself and I become homeless and you name it, man. I was broke and unwashed and starving and boned out and all the rest of it. And in that time, I found Mad Child, man. You know, he was going solo. He split up from his crew, smaller members. He's an underground rapper from Canada, and Canada.
Canadian club.
Yeah. And so, yeah, from Canada and Vancouver. Started listening to his shit, man. He's just a fucking another level of rapper. Like, he's the underground king, you know. And man becomes legend, legend becomes myth, myth becomes failure, failure becomes gift. Is just a bar, man. That I just thought, like, that's me, all over. Like, I stepped in the streets, grew hair on my balls, and stepped in the streets thinking I was all that. And if I can become a man, you know. And I did, you know. I put in the work and I become a man. And then I got to a stage where, I climbed the ranks. It was a hard climb, you know. But I climbed the ranks and eventually got to a stage in my area where, I was a legend.
Yeah.
Maybe in my own lunchbox, but words in the streets, my name rang bells,
Yep.
We controlled the area. Me and the boys I was running with. And so I become a legend. And then, once I walked away from a life of crime, that then I become a myth, didn't I? I become just a name in the wind. And, no one wanted to know what the fuck I was doing. I was just a normal dude in the street, but I've done this and I've been here and do you know who the fuck I am and all that shit. They didn't give a shit, man. New cunts are coming up. And, yeah, man, then I became a myth. Now that was a big shot to my ego, man. That really hurt. And then, so myth becomes failure, man. And that's where the drugs kicked in, and the depression, becomes suicidal,
yep,
all that. And little did I know that, the darkest time, I'm 42, and the darkest time in my life was when I was washed up on drugs, suicidal, ODing on drugs, crews coming at me from all different angles because I wasn't crewed up and I was an old head and, I didn't have the fucking money to make moves or I didn't have the toys or any of that shit. And so, I got attacked from all angles, man, and it was a really fucking dark time, but now I look back on it, the darkest times can be some of the most beautiful. So it was a really humbling experience. It was the death of my ego, which ended up being a gift. I sit here now, owner of Hope Cartel, no longer a dope dealer, hope dealer, and I tell my story and, I just give people inspiration with the content I do, and I just keep it real, man. I keep it G, I don't fuck around, but I'm all about that positive shit, man. Don't get it twisted just because of the tattoos and the way I walk and talk. I might fucking drop the F-bomb, blah, 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 all these ones and that. Doesn't mean shit because I still have a good heart. I've learned to love, not hate, and I hope people don't hurt them,
Yeah.
And if I can get out, anybody can. And if they want my help, then they're ready to listen. Let's get it, Yep.
That's cool.
Yep.
It is cool, man. And like, even just hearing that phrase, from dope to hope,
Yep.
like it sounds incredible, but really, like, it's chalk and cheese. Like, you just gave a brief description of, how life once was, and it wasn't that long ago.
Yeah.
Like, your journey's been what?
I'm 21 months sober, 18 months into social media.
Yeah, 18 months into social media. You've completely, you've just dropped this whole person, this whole world.
Yeah.
And, you're dealing in hope, the Hope Cartel.
Yeah.
It's such a great brand, great message to push, doing so much for the community. But like I said, man, like it's chalk and cheese, and in that, like, and I know from speaking with you over the last few days, like, me and you are alike when it comes to, we're a lot about the universe, the universe is at play, everything happens for a reason. Do you feel that this is very much what's going on here today?
Oh yeah, man, like, fuck, it's a trip, life's a trip. Like I said, start the podcast, I've always had a good intuition, always had a good intuition, like, gut feeling. Mum's very spiritual and shit. She's like a little hippie and that, She gets down for crystals and, what you put out there, you get back. In the middle of the night, you'll smell sage burning and all the rest of it, She's into all the stuff. So I grew up around that, And yeah, I am very spiritual, man, 100%. And I'm not religious, but I only believe in what I've seen or what I've learnt or what I know. Not what someone else has told me or what an agenda's been pushed or anything like that. And 100%, Jordan, man, the universe is like, there's a collective consciousness up there, and that's what rules us. We're just energy, I believe, and that energy makes up the universe. You know what I mean? And so you serve that. And I think it starts to work in your favour, and I've worked it out. It took fucking 40 years or something, but I started to work it out, and I believe, free will's everything, brother. We're supposed to be on this earth to love one another and not judge, I really believe that. So I think that the life I lived was like a massive university degree on life. It was my, fucking 25-year apprenticeship to be where I am today, and I've only just started, I've only kicked in the doors on social media, pushing hope, we're going to the top with this shit, 100%, like, especially, man, I'm a fucking ex-crook, I've got tattoos on my face, for fuck's sake, so, do you know what I mean, like, what's life in the real world? Step into the real world, what can I offer, man? I never worked a legal day in my life, so, what am I going to do, man? And I found something by transitioning my old skills that I'd learned along the way and doing something right with them and putting them into the real world, the positive world. And here we are today, So I think I went through all that as a learning curve to be the man I am today and be able to be a professional hope dealer, man. You know what I mean? Like, straight up, I 100% know what the fuck I'm talking about. I've done the time. My hands are dirty. You know what I mean? I've seen it. Mate, every fucking abuse you can think of, poverty, fucking, mental health, drug addiction, you know what I mean, violence. Like, I've seen it all, bro. I've got the scars to match, and so I sit here now, and it's, like, I don't want to spruik about that old life because I don't want to glorify it, but at the end of the day, it's a badge of honour, and it got me who I am today. I'm not talking tough about it and like it's cool to be that, but I've used it to my advantage, and now I push hope, not dope, and I'm here to help people. So I speak the language, you know what I mean? If anybody's about that life and they want to find a way out, I speak their language. I know what's cracking. Let's get it, I'll help you. I got out. You can too, So,
exactly, yeah. Man. And, it's that paradox, right? Because if you never pushed dope, you would not be here pushing hope. 100%. So you're exactly where you're meant to be.
Yeah.
And that's the irony in it all.
Yeah. Yeah. Fucking know.
Yeah, I think I remember when we came past your place a couple of weeks back, when we were in Melbourne, and we were talking over this stuff, and to encapsulate in the space of 1 minute sentence here for everybody that's listening, when we're talking about the universe at play here. So basically, that time we got to chat, you basically explained to me that from teenage, you went out in the streets, you got into what you got into, yep. And you ended up running it like a business, like it was a business, yep. Right?
Yeah. And
very famous song, don't get high for your own supply,
yep.
Right?
I live by that shit.
You live by that, right? So then your whole career with your business, you didn't touch any of the product. You just did what you had to do with the business. Then when you finally get out of that after a prison stint and come out and say, I'm not doing that anymore, you then end up becoming the consumer, not the provider, and end up going down and suffering all of the things that the consumer suffers when getting it.
Yes.
And then got out of that. And the next time you come out of prison, then went and did what you've done now. So this is like you're the third time lucky.
Yeah, man, it's some karma shit.
It's that I mean? If people don't believe in the universe, they need to tell me that ain't true now. When you listen to that and understand the levels of that, and that leads me on to something actually that was interesting about that whole story that you told me, which was in between all of those transitions that we've just talked about there of your different parts of your life. How did your arch enemy, that particular detective, change coats one day and talk you into thinking about some form of help or change?
Yep. Okay. So
because that's trippy.
Okay. So I'd walked away. I was convicted. So originally, let's go back to the start for just a sec. I come up, rising through the ranks. I end up taking a pinch at about, big pinch at about early 20s, going into my mid 20s. And undercover cops, phone intercepts, kilo, fucking over kilo speed, 7,000 bickies, all the rest of it. bouncer got pinched selling to some other covers. Then they were me as the supplier with surveillance and phone intercepts and all that. And I took a pinch on a drug blue, so I'm a convicted drug dealer, you know. Just get it out the way, and then I went away, come back out, hit the streets running, straight back into it, you know. Just was still hungry. There wasn't enough to deter me. I ended up getting a 5 with a 3 anyway.
Yeah.
And took a plea. Come back to the streets, smashed it out, man, you know. And it's funny, you know, because the next thing we went up against the courts for, you know, I was found not guilty on. Now I can whinge about, oh but fuck, I was innocent, this and that, you know, and fucking nearly really fucking took a toll on us, man. I lost some boys along the way. They're not here anymore. Rest in peace.
Yeah.
It was a heavy case. You know, I was blamed for a friend of mine's death. You know, another mate killed himself in the cell. Another mate, you know, he's not here anymore. You know, a bunch of shit went down, you know, and the Jacks were, you know, they were the competition. Like straight up, they were the competition. I don't whinge about, you know, being put up against the courts for that, because at the end of the day, you know, what about all the shit I got away with? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it made me, as a blessing in disguise, it made me the man I am today. So then I walk away from a life of crime. I owed him a couple of years on a little punch on that was on camera. No massive charges or nothing. Got found guilty on. And I come back out from that time, because I remember my mum was in the dock. She's like, started crying and that. And I'm like, we're good. I'll be home in a couple of years. Like, forget about the fucking life. I'm good. You know, that life in prison's not happening no more. Found not guilty, I'm good. I'll be home in a couple. I owed him 25 months because I got remand time or something. And then come home and just thought, you know what? I'm going to do the righty. That's it. I told all the boys in prison I'm retiring. I was in mid-30s by this stage.
Yep.
And I was like, fucking, that's it for me, you know. I'm hanging up the gloves. And, bro, you know, to try and transition from, you know, from 13 to fucking, you know, for over 20 years, you know what I mean, of a life of fucking high risk, high reward, you know, just straight street shit. You know, I never had a bank account, never had a phone or a car in my name, nothing in my name. I was off the grid, you know, real street.
Till mid-30s, right?
Mid-30s,
that's
yeah.
for people. Some people listening, that isn't even comprehensible.
Yeah, proper hood shit, you know. And
Yeah.
then I fucking go, right, now I'm going to do this 9 to 5 shit. You know what I mean? I'm going to fucking, lingo. So I started hanging, I was going to say waxing. That's another, you know, saying for hanging out.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
So I started hanging out with this straight girl and that. We fell for each other. And she was real straight. She had a couple of kids and shit. And so, like, I'd take the kids to school, you know. It was all about making breakfast and lunch for their school, and we'd get to bed by 10 o'clock, you know, and all full straight shit, you know. I just jumped in the deep end, as I do. And, yeah, man, it hit me like a ton of bricks. You know, I started dabbling a little bit in drugs. I didn't have my eye on the prize anymore. I didn't know what the prize was. I'm telling myself, I don't want to go back to prison, fuck all that. But it was really hard for me to, people would say, oh, you walked away from life of crime, well done, you know, go get a job. Oh man, it's not that easy. I'd lived so far away from that normal life, if there is one, you know, that when I stepped into it, it was like me turning around to someone that, you know, works a 9 to 5 family, holiday, home, this, that, and saying, listen, come to the streets, we're going to pump gear, we're going to run around Roscoe's in our fucking waistband. You know, Jack's fucking behind us 24/7. You know, we've got to dodge and weave them. If we get pinched, we could end up in jail for the rest of the life, or another crew could take us out and we die. Man, they have an anxiety fucking attack on the spot, you know?
Yeah.
They go, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Well, it was vice versa for me. You know, tell me to come live a 9 to 5 in the street, normal life.
Yeah.
Fucking knock me for a 6, you know? And so I started dabbling with drugs and shit like that, just here and there, because like I had no reason, nothing to drive me anymore. You know, I just told myself I'm getting out on the streets and that's it, and I'll be a normal guy. Started doing this normal shit, man. It caught up with me. Hey, one morning after about 12 months, I woke up and I just had enough, bro. I just had enough. All that was going through my head was, I can't do this 9 to 5 shit.
Yep.
I can't do it. It's not for me. So
Institutionalized in the streets, almost, yeah?
Yeah, 100%. And so I tried to take my own life, you know, tried to unalive myself, and I string myself up out the back and end up snapping, hit the deck. And when that happened, I got really angry. So I'd lost a mate during our trials that he took his own life the same way, and he got no recognition for it. And so, like, that didn't even cross my mind, you know, until I fucking didn't succeed. And they got angry and that. And so like I thought, fuck this. And so I'm an SVO, which is it's called Serious Violent Offender.
Yeah.
Registered Violent Offender. And so I rang the cops, the local jack shop. And I said, fucking, it's Garry Wright. This is my address, my fucking date of birth. I said, I'm an SVO. I said, just want to get here now. I'm kicking it off, you know. And if you don't, I'm going to hurt somebody. There's no one there but me, you know. My plan was when they lob, I'll just run out the front with a knife and get shot by police. At least I've gone out for bang.
Yeah.
To me, that was all I knew, you know. I didn't know how I was going to ride this shit out that I signed up for, which was some straight shit. And going out on front page of the newspaper and Channel 7, 9 and 10, you know, advertising the bottom of my kicks under a white sheet, to me was fucking, you know, that was the final chapter. Like, I can live with that. And so, you know, obviously life had more in offer for me than that, because I was waiting for the police, and the roller door rolled up. And what the fuck's going on here? And my girl rolls in, she opens up the garage door. She goes, hey, what's doing, babe? She goes, I've just come home for a tea break, you know, smoko. She worked at a cafe. I said, what the fuck are you doing here? And now I'm in a hostage situation. I've just called the Jacks 3-4 minutes earlier.
Fucking
You know what I mean? So like, I'm like, fuck, what are you doing here? And she's like, what the matter with you? You're not looking right in your head. I said, oh man, I just can't do this shit. I just can't do it. She doesn't know. I've tried to hang myself earlier on.
Yeah.
About half an hour earlier, probably. Not even. And she goes, hang on, something's not right. I'm fucking just pacing around, the blade in my waistband, you know. And she can't see it. And then I'll look out the front. 5 minutes go by, I look out the front, and the SOGs are there. They start speaking to me through the loudspeaker and that. Evacuate the premises, come up with your hands up. Oh, we're going to come in, give me so much time, blah, blah, blah. The usual procedure. And she's looked out the front, she's gone white as a ghost. So what the fuck have you done? Because once I looked, I said, well, it's all over now, that's it. You know what I mean? Fuck it, I'm done. And she's like, what have you done? She thinks I've like done some massive crime, you know, while she's at work. I said, I called them on myself. She's like, what? So I'm going out there, mate. They can end it. I'm going out there to get got, you know? Fuck it. I'm going to run out on them and they can sort it, you know. And she sort of got the drift of what was cracking then. And she's like, so she got down on both knees and grabbed my hands and started crying. So you can't do this in front of me. Obviously, it was a cry for help from me.
Of course.
And at that time, you know, you're watching yourself go through these processes like on autopilot. You know, my positive consciousness is just sitting back going, whoa, man, what the fuck are you doing? You know what I mean? And then the evil me's just running the procedure, you know?
Yeah.
And so anyway, so as soon as she sort of grabbed my hand and said, please, you can't hurt yourself in front of me and stuff like that, give me a reason to, yeah, man, like I found a way out, you know? The good guy in me said, oh, yeah, this is all right, we don't have to die, you know what I mean? And I said, all right, listen, I'll fucking just put this away. So I put the knife away. I said, I'll go out the front and I'll tell him, just relax, all right. I'll tell him I'll just fucking, you know, got nothing on me and that. So I go out the front and I rip my top up, you know, drop a Yui and that. So I'm holding nothing. They get on the ground, you know. They got the machine guns, little MP5s, the masked up, booted up and all that. Little tank in the driveway. And I get on the ground and as soon as they jump on me and cable tie me, and all that stress went away, you know. That heavy morning, it was gone. So I knew something wasn't right then. You know, why have I got to be arrested on the way to prison for me to feel okay? There's that structure that I knew, you know. Yeah.
There's institutionalization of so many different levels, right? Not even just in the streets ways, but the prison, and just that level of constant hypervigilance. Yeah. Like that's what made you feel normal, right?
Yeah, so then, you know, the whole organised chaos, you know what I mean? Organised chaos, I was okay
spread
with
from
it.
organised crime.
Yeah, so I was at home then, and this is where it all went fucking sideways for me. So they got to clear the house, you know, the usual procedure, you know, they make sure every room's empty. I'm on the ground and I can hear them clearing the house, police, and it goes silent for, you know, 10 seconds, police, goes silent, you know, police. They're just clearing all the house and that's what they got to do. Once that's all done, you know, they tick that off the box, they come out, they grab me, stand me up and they hand me over to detectives. Now these are the detectives that I've dealt with all my life since I was a kid, since I come up, you know, fucking robbing houses and shops and then moved on to selling drugs, and you know, I always broke their balls and they were always, you know, it was a cat and mouse game. And they'd rose up through the ranks just like I had, you know. We'd spent 20 years button heads, you know.
Yeah.
And this detective, man, he comes and sees me one out. He goes, put his handcuffs, one of the little one-pippers and that, uniforms. He goes, put his handcuffs in the front, loosen them up. I mean, I'm used to this guy fucking beating my ass and wanting to pay out or rob me, you know what I mean? Like, straight up. And put my hand, he goes to my missus, grab him a cigarette. He gives me a cigarette. He goes, Gary, I want to talk to you from man to man now. Let's drop the bad guy, good guy act for a sec. He goes, it's just you and me, yeah? He goes, listen, he goes, I've seen some things in my time. He goes, I can only imagine the things you've seen. He goes, I've sat on a couch and talked to someone, and I take a pill in the morning. He goes, mate, you're not yourself. He goes, look me in the eyes right now. He goes, I know you. He goes, you're not yourself. He goes, you're hurting. He goes, I'm not going to send you to jail. I'm going to send you to hospital. What do you think about that? All right, fucking mate. When the enemy speaks the truth, knocks you for a 6.
Yeah, 100%.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it blew me out of the water. I was like, what the fuck's this guy talking about?
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting that at all.
That's some universal shit too.
And then, he goes, now we go back to what we do, He goes, if you fucking play up tomorrow, you drop the ball, I'll find the evidence, I'm going to pinch you. He goes, but, he goes, I'm going to send you to hospital today, not jail. Sweet. So we went and did that, and I went and spoke to some doctors for the next 3 months, some head doctors and that, psychiatrists and all the rest of it, a little team down at Harvester Clinic, and they sussed me out and they told me what was cracking, and, that was pretty standard what I'd been through. They, ADD and ADHD, I had a little bit of extreme look on life, If I had have gone down the right road, I probably would have been rid motorbikes for a living or combat sports or, the military or something like that.
Yeah.
I needed a bit more stimulant than maybe the normal, next normal kid, if you want to say whatever's normal. And, yeah, man, so, that's what it was. I found out that, of course I was going to come from a broken home where there wasn't much money, have an extreme look on life and step into the streets with looking for a thrill. What was on offer for me? Nothing was on offer. It was fucking, crime in the streets.
Yeah.
And the fact that I hyper-focused on things that stimulated me because of my ADD and my ADHD, of course I was going to be good at it. This is what they told me. And then, I was too smart for my own good because when I had, looking down the barrel the rest of my life in prison eventually, because that's the occupational hazard of being a crook, is, you're going to go to jail for a very long time. You're going to end up dead, or if you're lucky, maybe washed up on drugs, lost your mind.
Yeah.
That sucks even, in my eyes, but that's the easy bit apparently. And that's where most turn to anyway. And yeah, man, so, when I found this out, I was like, wow. And they said the fact that you come crashing down when you walked away from a life of crime doesn't surprise us at all because, it's like a footballer that plays football, and he's kicking the winning goal, part of the grand final team, best and fairest, whatever. And then, retires, goes sits on the couch and has a beer. He's trying to tell people, I kicked the goal, this grand final.
No one gives a shit at this point.
No one cares, man. The depression kicks in like a motherfucker. What goes up must come crashing down,
Perfect example of that is Iron Mike.
Yep.
Iron Mike Tyson, right? Heavyweight champion of the world, youngest heavyweight champion in the world. You can imagine, right? Like every week of his life, whether he was out in the public or going into the ring, everyone's cheering his name. Go on, Mike,
Yep.
And then all of a sudden, silence, just nothing. And you just see him go down further and further and further with his mental health because he's lost his recognition button where everyone knows him, right? So it does. It makes perfect sense that you'd get out of that and you've got no identity. You had an identity crisis.
100%. Yeah. Right. Imposter syndrome,
Yeah, massive.
Yep. And so yeah, man, that was it. From being a bad cunt, I become a shit cunt on drugs.
Yeah.
And that was that being a shit cunt was a transition from being a bad cunt to a shit cunt to now a good cunt.
Yeah.
There was that real hardcore period in the middle.
Yeah.
And that's what happened. So yeah, man, I come back from those meetings with a bit of fucking sense of what's going on. If only once again it was as easy as that.
Yeah.
And then I just ripped myself off, man.
Yeah.
It's almost like they give me the answer, okay, now I need to numb that pain.
Yeah,
exactly.
You know
what I mean?
And so that's pretty normal too.
Self-medicated for the next 4 years, man. I smoked heroin, I smoked ice, I took prescription pills, GHB, drank alcohol, smoked weed, pretty much anything I could get my hands on.
Yeah.
And just fucking become a fucking shell of a man, man. Become a shell of a man. I've become homeless. I was sleeping on trap house couches, unwashed, starving, broke, you name it, man. And it was ugly, just worrying about my next rock,
Yeah.
And it was ugly, man. It was fucking, and then, you know, getting attacked from all angles too, you know, because now I'm not fucking.
Retribution, eh?
Yeah, man, karma, come back to see what's doing. I mean, I'm looking an old head from the area now, washed up on drugs. Got all these new heads coming up in the crew. You know, they're like, fucking, yeah, man, let's get him. So, man, I was getting shot at, fucking attacked, you name it, man. Like, yeah, list goes on, you know. But all I had to do was the balls to stand my ground, you know, and then like a rock in, I was like you know, between a rock and a hard place, because, you know, if I did retaliate, where am I going? Back to prison? I didn't like the sounds of that. Do you know what I mean? So what I'm going to do is grab a finger and start shooting back. What's that going to do me? You know what I mean? Like, unlucky me, I'll clip one of them in the fucking head. Lucky they were all bad shots. You know, in that time I was stabbed, had my head cracked, you know, a bunch of bullshit. But I was shot at like over 4 different times. But yeah, man, they always missed, you know.
Lucky that they did, because now we've got Garry 2.0, which is out there doing all the good shit.
Yeah, man.
You know, I think no one will ever understand the amount of violence it took for you to become this kind.
I love that, brother. I love that, you know, and I totally resonate with that. You know, it's so true.
Yeah.
So true.
So, what is your biggest regret looking back at it all? I mean, obviously, I know that it's basically made you who you are now, so I get that and I respect that. But if you had to say something, what would you say your biggest regret is looking back?
I know. Straight up, you know, and that's part of the reason I'm on the mission I am, you know, is the innocent kids, man, that lose out on the war on drugs, you know, they lose out hard. Those innocent children, man, like, you know, I don't know how many fucking homes I broke up, man. Do you know what I mean? Because of my product, you know. You know, dad's strung out on gear, goes to prison. Mum's fucking strung out on gear, looking for her next rock. And, you know, there were those, what we all know, man, what happens in those, you know, the lower end of the cities, you know, the suburbs. And those kids, man, they go without breakfast, lunch and tea. They don't get Christmas presents. They don't get to go away on holidays to movie world. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Fucking every abuse you can think of in that home, you know, all that shit surrounded all for those fucking, you know, me pushing that poison. I mean, I only did my bit, you know. I can't change the fucking world. But I know I've broken up plenty of homes, you know. So, now, you know, I know you boys know, but anybody that's listening, you don't know, my 5-year plan is a rehab centre. So I want to open up a rehab centre. I want to put asses in beds and get them clean, get them back out into the community. And, you know, fingers crossed they, you know, get a job, get a mortgage going on. Their kids, man, you know, will get to have those, you know, breakfast, lunch and teas. They'll get those Chrissy presents under the fucking tree. You know, they'll get to go away on movie world. They'll get what kids deserve, you know. Generational traumas, like some real shit, you know. So it gets passed on down the line. So, you know, if that's the case, if I can do that and those kids grow up, you know, there's a chance that when they have kids, they're going to get a good life too, you know. So it's just righting my wrongs, man. Resetting that karmic debt, you know, giving back, you know, what I took, you know what I mean? It's balancing it out. Life's all about an even balance, you know. Yeah. And so, like, yeah, man, the kids is what I regret, man, because they're the innocent ones, you know what I mean? I was just out to get mine, you know, and I pushed the poison and I was worrying about my pockets getting full. Fuck the rest, you know. But now, you know, I've had my awakening. I'm woke, you know, whatever you want to fucking call it. I've stopped to smell the roses. Man, I think back and I think, fuck, mate, you know what I mean? What about the poor kids, man? They didn't deserve that shit. No. You know, when mum's bringing fucking the dealer a fucking doll check for a fucking gear and the kids have got no fucking money for food, that's some shit. That's a shit go, man. That's shit. You know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, look, at the same time, you know, hindsight's a motherfucker, right? Like, when you look back. But I think the very fact that you have such high levels of self-awareness now, I think that makes up for a lot of things. At the end of the day, we cannot really change much about what we wrote in our previous chapters, but we can always make sure that the ending is good in our story, right? Which is what's been very inspiring and really soul nourishing for me in the last few days, and I'm sure it's been the same for the old Lock Dog being around you, is when it comes to real, and I mean, obviously, look, you're on social media, you know, you've got a fair size following and it's only growing by the day. So you're always going to have a lot of people that got a lot of shit to say, that think they know better. But I can tell anyone listening to this right now,
you have to be one of the realest, but also one of the kindest people that I've come across.
Okay.
In the last few days, just hanging out with you, like, it's been effortless, bruv.
Yep.
It's like we've known each other before.
Cheers, man.
And yeah, your kindness, even with, you know, catching up with young Brody yesterday, and, you know, made his day, and hanging with him and teaching him some social media tricks as well to help him with his stuff. And yeah, I think no matter what anyone, you know, people are going to say whatever they're going to say online. You know, they're going to say whatever, but I think they got it twisted if they get anything other than the fact that what you're doing now and who you've become is a high level human being operating well above the normal level of consciousness that most people operate on. So
Thanks, bro.
You know, touche. Well played.
Thanks, mate. You know, I've got an addictive personality now. I'm addicted to helping people, not hurting them, you know, which is cool, man. You know, like, it's that pay it forward shit, you know, and I do that by just serving, you know, being there, you know. Sometimes you can't be fucked, but you know what I mean? When you get a smile off them, or, you know, you see the joy in them, then it's worth it, in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're like, fucking oath, you know, and I live for that shit now. I really do.
100%.
I'm curious to know, brother, what's something people don't know about you, or they don't understand about you, that you wish they did? Because, like, you push this message online and people really gravitate towards your dark past and, you know, the war stories and all these things that have paved the way for where you are today. But, you know, I've really got to know that man and a lot more of that man in our time together just recently. And if you were to kind of change the narrative a little bit here today, what do you wish people did understand about you?
Bro, you know, straight up, like, you know, I might not be book smart. Do you know what I mean? I might not be, like, you know, pen on paper smart, book smart. But fucking I know a thing about life, you know? I've been through the ringer and back. And so, like, you know, I say I'm an expert by experience, man. I ain't no textbook shit, you know? And where I'm going with that is, you know, people think, look at this guy, he's got tattoos on his face. You know what I mean? He's fucking got a record as long as his arm. Do you know what I mean? He's a fucking drug dealer. And you become a drug addict. What the fuck you doing on social media talking your shit, bro? That's what a lot of people come across, you know? And none of this is by chance, you know what I mean? As much as I believe my path was paved, I had to walk that path. And I did that by thinking, you know, by strategically planning this out. You know, people like, hey, fucking war stories, you're cooked, bro. I was a couple of months clean, man. I was fresh off the street, you know, a couple of months clean, but I knew exactly what I was doing, man. I was snapping necks my way, violent sells. It's a motherfucker that it does, but it does. So I dropped them war stories so they could look my way. As soon as I got people looking my way, what do I do then? Push a positive message. You know what I mean? Because I know what the fuck I'm talking about. You know, I want to raise awareness to drugs, jail, and crime's not worth it. So anybody that thinks I'm just a blonk, you know what I mean? Apart from the time I fucking had on drugs, but I've never been short for $1. Whether it's in the streets or whether it's fucking social media. I know exactly what I'm fucking doing. I'm building an empire. I've already been there, I've done that. I'm building another one, you know? Hope Cartel. I'm doing that shit all the way to a rehab centre. So, you know, I will have the last laugh. You know what I mean? So, and, you know, I'm doing it the right way, you know? Like, these people who've got something to say, what the fuck have they done for the community? Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah, I hurt some people, I've done some wrong things, I pushed some poison, but I'm fixing it all up, man. You know what I mean? I'm going to right my wrongs. You know, and I'm going to own a rehab centre. I'm going to fucking help people. You know, I'm a businessman, 100%. You know, I'm not stupid. You know what I mean? I know exactly what I'm doing. You know, any cunt that thinks I'm just a fucking slouch, they're tripping, bruh. You know what I mean? Like, they're tripping hard. They're going to get a rude awakening when I'm fucking owning, if not 1, but 10, you know what I mean, rehab centres. And I'm known, you know, they'll write a book about me then. I don't give a fuck. And what then, cunts? You know what I mean? Straight up. Like, I fucking, mate, that's proper from fucking dope dealer to hope dealer shit. You know what I mean? The reason why I'm running with that is because I found another shot at life. You know what I mean? I found a purpose. I found something that's worth for me doing, and sustainable, bro. You know what I mean? I bring my resume from the streets. That's my resume right there. I tell people it's not worth it, man. It ends bad. And I'm going to do it all the way to getting people off drugs, not on it. You know, once upon a time I put people in rehab centres. I'm going to do that again, but all for all the right reasons, you know, because I'm an owner, not because my product's on the street, you know what I mean? Like, anybody that's sitting behind a keyboard has something to say, you know what I mean? Like, have you had time to think about all that? You know, because I have, and I know exactly what I'm doing, you know what I mean? So, like, I just want people to recognise that this ain't by chance. You know what I mean? I'm playing, mate, life's fucking chess, not checkers. You know what I mean? I know exactly what the fuck I'm doing. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Do you know what comes into my mind? And I reckon it's something that I've thought ever since I met you and we started hanging out in the last few days. I'm not a businessman. I'm a business man.
Yeah. Yeah.
That there depicts everything I've learned about you this last few days.
I'm in the business of helping people, so fuck yeah, let's get it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I can't be kicked in the dick for that. You know what I mean? Let's go.
Yeah.
Life's going to go, well played, brother. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're in the business of helping people. Get it, guy.
Well,
Yeah, it's 100% something I've picked up getting to know you the last couple of days, man. Like, you in business, even though you might not have, like a business degree, and you might not be able to pull out all these big fancy words, and man, you're fucking dialed in.
Yeah, thank you, bro.
Man, like, you know exactly what you're doing, and everything's intentional.
Yeah.
Like, it's game, set, match every time.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, and with such great purpose behind it, man. Like,
thank you.
No, I absolutely love it.
Move differently. So, on the back of that, then, because of your passion now for what your end goals are, and because concurrently what our podcast is about, what does the word addiction mean to you?
Well, man, it's massive, bro. Like, I had to become an addict to work out what it was all about, wouldn't I? Like, fuck, what a trip, because like I said before, man, I was the guy that looked down on someone that fucking was using, and I become the user, man. Like, let me tell you, motherfuckers think they're hardcore because they're putting in work in the streets, keeping it gangster. That ain't shit, man. Try having a fucking drug habit and having to fucking support that drug habit being on you. Mate, that is pain. That is work. That is in the trenches. It's way harder work being a drug addict than what it is being a G, Like, fucking, I'm telling you, these motherfuckers that are moving and shaking, man, they think they're all that. Look, brother, like, go wash yourself off on heroin or fucking shard or something, you know what I mean? Alcohol or something, and see how you go, It's some serious work. So addiction is massive, man. That's my number one niche. You know what I mean? Like, obviously I deal with mental health, drugs, jail, crime, raising awareness, all the rest of it, all that nitty gritty shit that comes from the gutter. But addiction's at the top of the list, and that's because I've been through it, from fucking, like I said, man, from being a dope dealer to a hope dealer, is that bit in the middle where I was a dope addict,
Yeah.
And so addiction's huge to me, man. And it is, yeah, bro, it all starts with problem. Someone's got a problem inside and they're trying to mask that problem. That's what it is 100%. You take away the drugs or the substance, that problem's still there. So you really need to work within. It's finding that issue, finding that problem, finding why you're taking drugs. Drugs is filling the void somewhere along the line for a bunch of so many different reasons. It depends on where you come from, what you're about. There's so many different walks of life, and they take a substance to heal something, to band-aid a wound. If you can find out why that wound's there, you know what I mean, then you can address it, you know what I mean, and that's what it is. So once you deal with addiction, you really need to find out why you're taking that drug, and then you need to fucking work on that problem, and that's awesome. Look, use inside out, that's what it is. It's working from the inside out 100%, because you can't just put a band-aid over it. You know what I mean? It's not about that.
One of my favourite things that I always hear Jordan ask our clients a lot at the beginning is not why the addiction, but why the pain.
Yeah, that's right.
It's the truth,
Yeah, it's something I always bring with anyone that walks into the office for the first time. It's, if we were to consider your addiction, I'll use example meth, and I'll kind of go, okay, you've been using for this period of time, et cetera, et cetera. What does it do for you? And a lot of people don't know the answer straight away, and they'll get back to me, give them 30 seconds, and they'll go, I just feel happy for once, man. Like, whenever I get on, I just feel happy. So I'm like, so then the question is, why aren't you happy without it?
Yeah, that's right.
And they're like, oh, I've never stopped to think, man.
Yeah, man. And that's why you guys with your NLP shit, that's awesome. You know what I mean? Like, that's grouse, like what you're doing there, because there needs to be more trauma therapy.
Yeah.
There needs to be more. You can unpack that trauma.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That shit, that bad energy you've stored up along the way, you can get rid of that.
Yeah.
So, there is a process. Mainstream medical,
Nah.
they're not about it. they almost want you coming back for more. You know what I mean?
Well, no, because it makes money. If it makes money, it makes sense, and they don't want to use any common sense around that stuff, right? So it's a simple thing, right? And by the way, this concept is actually like it works for anyone. It doesn't have to be in addiction. For instance, we have disability clients that are battling physical disabilities. It's a simple statement.
Yep.
Change your language, and it will change your life.
Yep.
The way you talk is the way you walk.
Which is something, you know, that's in our role in our business.
Yeah.
We don't use the word addict. We don't say the word addiction.
Yep.
You know, because I have people come in, they're like, you know, I'm an addict. You know, I've got this addiction. I'm like, let's just change the language for a second. We'll go from addiction to coping strategy. How does that sound? They're like, oh, that actually makes a lot more sense. I feel a lot better about myself.
Yep.
Straight away.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. It is. It's like, yeah, for sure, man. I get that, and I love that shit. You know, it's all about rewiring your brain, in it. You know.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Neurons that fire together wire together.
Yeah.
Right. And that's how you start raising your consciousness too.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. All right. Well, we'll take a little swerve and check out what fucking chaos I've decided to bring into this studio for News of the Week this week. I know Jordan fucking loves this segment.
Yeah.
Read all about it. Loves it indeed.
Read all about it. It's the news of the week.
Well, I thought I'd keep it a little bit along the lines of what we're talking about today. So basically, Better Chicago, or COMCBC, is tired of the rising crime rates. The fight seems to be going nowhere, so the COMCBC is trying a different tactic by adopting the old saying, keep your friends close and your enemies closer. Spokesman Nathan Corbell said that their organisation voted 8-1 to allow gangs to have a say in community projects. He said, we feel that by letting these people have a say in their neighbourhood, it may lessen the tension on the streets. We will start with subtle changes and proceed from there. One gang, the Shit Be Real Posse, has already signed up for the Name Your Street project. Posse spokesman One Eye Death Roll told us that we don't know who the fuck these people be, like Rosita Lane. Who the fuck's Rosita Lane? I never heard of that bitch. The street name project is just the beginning, and if successful, the COMCBC will push forward with other projects in the future. The unveiling of the street names will be Saturday at noon. The ceremony will be at the former intersection of Rosita Lane and Franklin Drive, and the new intersection will now be Shit Motherfucker Boulevard and I'll Put a Bullet in Your Ass Drive.
What the fuck did I just listen to, bro? What the fuck was that?
Wow. All right.
This is a community project they're doing in Chicago where they're trying to bring gangs into the community and let them name streets and shit. So it's America. I mean, what do you want me to do with that?
Oh, man.
What do you want me to do with that? It's, you know.
It's kind of cool, though.
Well, it is. I mean, you know, Bust Your Ass Boulevard. You know, fucking drop a cap in your ass drive.
It's funny, actually, because I'm useless at remembering names, but if you're rattling off names like that, bro, I'm dialed into that.
Yeah, what do you reckon, guys?
$1.50 court.
Yeah, $1.50 court. Catch a case, fucking drive. I don't know.
Oh my God. Pull your fucking head in, bruv.
Pull your fucking head in, bruv. That's what Jordan's thinking about me right now with my News of the Week. He loves that fucking segment.
It's just so left of what we're doing.
It's meant to be. It's just a fucking pattern interrupt, bruv.
No, it's cool. It's cool.
All right, anyway, I'll let you crack on. I'll get back in me fucking box now.
All right, I'm going to throw a curveball your way because this was brought up in a discussion we've had recently. Who is Brody Nitro and how did he return the favour?
First off, man, touche to Brody. He's a fucking legend. And that dude, he's one smart dude, man. So we, grew up the same business, same crew, come from the same gang and that. When we fought our trials and we were found not guilty, he walked away from a life of crime. He's a bit younger than me, and he went into legit business. He failed, I think, 5 times, if I'm correct. he done it all, you know, from farming to personal training, food prep to the combat sports, setting up events, you name it. Tried everything, all failed. He ended up getting into something. I think it was his 5th business, if I'm correct, 5th or 6th, and he killed it, man. And that was he's a online marketer and builds brands. And man, he really went and got life, to the fullest. And he took that hustler's mentality, and he took it to social media, and he's helped a lot of people along the way, including himself, And so when we walked our own ways, I went back to there's a bit of time to do, and then like I said before, I come out in the streets and I had a hard run, like trying to do the righty, and ended up on drugs, yeah. So, but he stayed close to the family and that, he calls my mum and stuff like that. And, when I come out out the trenches, boned out, man, fucking cooked. My brother put me up at his house, and I got cleaned in the bedroom there, just old school, just sweated out, princess, you know what I mean? And, I copped it sweet, and I fucking sitting around a Christmas table, the dinner table at Christmas. I said to my family, maybe I'll fucking I'll get a little unit in the area. And they all fucking looked at me like fucking deers in the headlights, Like, fucking no, you won't. I'm like 6 weeks clean. I'm just thinking I'm going to get a little unit in the area, right? They're like, no chance. They're like, maybe you should go see Brody. So they planted the seed, and I thought, all right then, if you say so. And, I started knocking it back a bit, and then I'm in an arm one morning, I'll be, yeah, okay, and next morning I'll be like, no, I don't know, And then Brody's hounding me on the phone, ring me night in, night out, saying, bro, you need to come see me. Look, just come see me. I'm training, I'm eating. We've always done, Thai boxing and, in the gym weights and stuff like that. Growing up in the wrong scene, that was what we were all about, keeping militant,
Yeah.
And, anyway, he was still doing that, but he was doing all the right things, He was just, like you say, it starts from the inside out, So he was making sure he turned up every day the best version possible, and he was up the top of Cairns. So I was in Melbourne at the time, and he was in Cairns, living life up, man. Working hard, keeping his brand alive, and helping other people, do marketing online and sales online and all that sort of stuff. And so I ended up going up there. I grabbed my backpack full of clothes and my dog. Yeah, the Bonnie. Me and Bon went up there, and I said, what's doing? And I started hanging out with him, and we started getting in the gym and going out to a restaurant here or there, and I'm sitting back watching what he's doing. And, I already said to my family before I went up there, maybe I'll try this social media shit just as to strike up a conversation. I had no clue what was going on. Just like Brody, that's what Brody does. I'm going to see him. Maybe have a talk to him about it. We'll see what's happening. Cocky me, thinking, I'll be right. And little did I know, man, fucking well. And so got up there and I seen what he's doing. I was thinking, I can do this. Every day he focused on his couple of hours to make sure his content was right and staying healthy and all the rest of it. And he said to me one day, he goes, man, you got a brand? I said, yeah. He goes, yeah, man, you got a brand. He goes, all day. He goes, you got a package. He goes, you walk and talk the way you do, your tattoos, you come from the old life, street life, you want to push a positive message, you want to tell people it's not worth it anymore. You've sort of like, I've come out, the woodwork, and I've worked out it's no good, that life. He says, why don't you fucking give it a shot? I said, yeah, I'll see what happens, huh? So I started fucking just grabbing the phone, man. Like, I was tops, man, 2.5 months clean. I reckon about 2 months, like fucking from a 4-year bender.
Yeah.
Like I was fucking still hadn't come good yet.
No, you were still rattled. I remember seeing some of the first videos, pacing and that, and in the car park, some of those ones in the car park, and the redback spider stories, and
yeah, man.
Yeah.
And that was just anxiety, man, getting the phone. Like
100%.
That pacing was the anxiety, because I've done plenty of laps in prison and stuff, but I'm not that boobed out that, when I fucking land in someone's lounge room, I start cutting laps. It's like, so I'm not that guy, you know what I mean? You used to see me, I'm like, I'm not, But, if I'm anxious, then obviously I've got to walk it off. So getting on, grabbing a phone, and I had the minerals to grab the phone and just spit something at it and then post it, see what happens. But in between was cutting laps, like sort of keep the blood flowing. But, and then, bro, I was fucking had to hand in the resumes because I need a little bit of work, you know. So
This is how you went viral, right?
yeah. So got some traction, a little bit of traction, little, you know, like 20, 30, 40K views, a few videos, a few war stories. Enough people looking my way, you know.
Look, can I ask quickly?
Yep.
What was on that resume?
Right. The resume might have been doctored, right? It might have been fucking a bit fucking shiesty. Yeah. I mean,
Touche, Jordan Lockerbie.
yeah, man, we might have been fibbing with the resume. All right?
right.
Just a little white lie.
We've all been there.
Yeah.
Been there.
And then so yeah, I was handing in resumes with to say that, like, you know, I needed a job and shit. And I was doing that, and I was handing one into the bottle. I rang Brody and I said, "What's cracking, bro?" I said, "I'm just handing a resume to the bottle shop." You know, my dad fucking he drank himself to death, man. He was robbed of his potential from alcohol, and you know, I come from a life where poison destroyed my community, and I was just about to step into a life of, you know, pushing poison for the government because it's legal.
Yeah.
Like rah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then but I just had to get work. You know, I was like, Brody put me up in an Airbnb for a month. You know, and it was time for me to start bringing in income. And yeah, man. So I rang him and I said, "Oh, bro, I'm handing the resume to the bottle shop." He goes, "Oh yeah." I said, "Yeah." I go, "So I'll come see you for coffee afterwards." He goes, "Okay." He goes, "Are you documenting this?" I said, "Nah, should I?" He goes, "Bro, that's content right there. That's what people love, you know. Document that shit." I said, "Sweet, man." I fucking just grabbed the phone, spat some shit at the phone about me handing in a resume, and that got only 500,000 views or something. Bro, little did I know that was my resume to social media.
That's
You know
fucking
what I mean?
crackers.
So the resume I was thrown into the
That's
bottle shop.
universe again.
Yeah, bro. It was actually the resume to socials, and that opened up the doors, man. And you know, started getting traction on videos, and people wanted to follow my journey and what's he doing. And bro, I just took advantage of the shit. You know what I mean? Like,
That's when you got strategic, right?
Yeah, yeah.
That's when you really kind of honed in.
yeah, fucking know.
Yeah.
I did bitch by the balls then. You know?
Yeah. That's some universal trippy shit, eh? Go in and hand a resume, doctored resume, into a bottle shop to get a job and end up finding your career on social media through that.
It makes sense though, you know, because if I was on the other end watching this, I'd go, here's this guy that's clearly had a super colourful life. Let's see if he can land a fucking job.
Yep.
Go on, let's see if he can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
So what does being, like, to you, what does a social media, like, what does being a social media influencer mean to you? Like, what does that mean to you?
It's crazy, you know. Bro, I still fucking wake up, you know, in the morning and think, fuck, is this shit real?
Yeah.
But it means a lot to me, man. It means a lot, you know. It's crazy, you know. But you know what? I fucking worked hard for it, man.
Yep.
You know, I showed up every day for the last 21 months and stayed sober. And fucking for the last 18 months, I posted every day. And repetition, man. Like, it's muscle memory, man. Practice makes perfect. So, you know, I've fine-tuned my art. I mean, I'm still got plenty of room for improvement, but that's good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's good. But I definitely can claim that, you know, I know what I'm doing now. And I've got my niche, I've got my brand, I've got my style, and I run with it. But being an influencer, man, it's everything to me because, you know, now I've got purpose. You know, I found for once in my life, man, you know, 42 fucking years, man, it took. You know, I'm doing something good. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think no one's born evil, man.
No, I don't think so either. I don't think one part of that's true when people say that. No one is born evil at all. It's your environment that dictates what happens next.
Yep.
And even then, that's partly bullshit because, like, you know, see, that does my fucking head in. When parents get blamed for whatever goes on with the child, well, that's ridiculous. I ended up going off the fucking deep end, and my mum is a beautiful human being that did everything right by me. Your mum sounds like a beautiful human being, and you went, well, you're a different galaxy of deep end to me.
Yep.
So, like, you know what I mean? I just think it's some shit just happens.
Yeah, man. If anything made me evil, it was money. You know?
That's the root of all evil, and it's a shit cliche, but it's the fucking truth.
Yep. Going off, you know. And so, yeah, being an influencer, man, is so cool, man. I'm like super proud of it.
Yeah.
You know, I think I've made my family proud.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, man, I was once part of the problem. Now I'm part of the solution, man. Like, wow, you know what I mean? Like I went through all that to get where I am today, and now I get to push a positive message and raise awareness to a bunch of shit I know is no good and know plenty about. Do you know what I mean? And I can preach till the cows come home, but you know what works? Where it starts, when someone's ready to listen. When they've decided in their fucking head that enough is enough, then they're going to hear all the words I've got to say.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, bro, you know, like I said before about textbook, you know, I might not be textbook, but fuck me. I speak their language and I know exactly what I'm talking about. So when they're looking for help or they're looking for inspiration or they're looking for a way out, bro, I'm here. You know what I mean? I'll always be here. I'm not going nowhere. You know, I'm going to keep pushing that positive message, man. Yeah. So, you know, being an influencer means a hell of a lot to me, man. It's given me purpose in life. It holds me accountable. Yeah. You know, I'm stoked to be doing the right thing, man. You know what I mean? Like I'm not saying like a fucking. It's not that I went soft, brother. It's just I seen it for what it was, and you know what I mean. Like life's a gamble, and I went all in. You know what I mean? To the point where life turned around and said, "You know what? You lost everything. You're done. Finito, mate." You know what I mean? And I thought, "Fucking Barleys." And I said, all right, one more, you get your chips back one more time. Well, I'm fucking jetting, man. I ain't stepping foot back in that joint. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah, because the house always wins, you know? So, like, I'm fucking, you know, I'm wrapped to find another path, another career. You know what I mean? Because
it's definitely changed. Sitting there the last few days, well, pretty much you educating us on TikTok and the different things that you do. But hearing some of the stories... it's changed the way I think about social media influencers, because there's a lot of influencers out there that are pushing what they think may be positive messages, and it's not great. Like a lot of these celebrities or whatever, they're paid to like say, oh, this product's really good for you, and it's fucking not. But what I learned from you, and I'm not going to go into the details of it, but you shared something even this morning to me and Jordan on the way to the beach, which just blew my mind. Like, you literally are saving people's lives from doing what you do, and I just think to myself, that's just fucking phenomenal, bruv. Like, you go on from, you know, maiming and at times risking and taking lives to saving lives on a daily basis, and yet people will go into this negative mind space about social media influencers. Yeah. But I've seen behind the curtain by listening, watching and hearing what you do and what you've experienced in your journey with TikTok, good and bad. Yeah. And it just blew my fucking mind. You know, like, I know where it comes from. A lot of these people that say about influencers are hardworking folk. Mm-hmm. And when you got to get up for fucking 8 to 12 hours and break your back for $150 a day, of course you're going to turn around to someone's driving a nice car that fucking drops a few hours of content maybe, you know what I mean? It shows up on a stream. Yeah. They're going, who the fuck are you? What are you doing? And what I say to that is, some people organise houses to be built. Some people build houses. Some people organise people to get on drugs. And some people organise people to get off drugs. Yeah. You know, that's me right there. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm an organiser, man. And I'm not an organiser to build a fucking house, let me tell you. You know what I mean? Yeah. But when it comes to the streets, I know what the fuck I'm doing. I call the shots. And now I'm calling the shots on people getting off the shit, not on it. Yeah. You know, come here, I'll hook you up, brother. I'll hook you up. I'll get you off it, not on it. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's what I'm about. So, you know, I'm good, man. I'm good. You know, and there's always going to be haters. You know what I mean? Like, you know, like, what do you do, you know? Probably fucking, you know, listen, they probably had a fight with the missus, you know what I mean, go out the back, feel like kicking the cat, you know what I mean, fucking scroll past my fucking crumpet rocks up, who the fuck is this cunt, you know what I mean? Well, you know what, if they fucking give me a shit comment and saves the cat being kicked, then so be it, mate, my job's well played, you know what I mean? I've done my job well, you know? I like that. Yeah. I like that. Not the cat, you know? No. Just leave the cat, leave the animals out of it, for fuck's sake, back away from the animals.
Well, we've just spoken about the importance of your brand, which most people are super familiar with, TikTok Garry, because TikTok Garry is its brand in itself. Yep. But the Hope Cartel is something you've been pushing, and it comes with a beautiful message behind it, which you also push. Yep. But I want you to share the story of how you came up with Hope Cartel and all the little intricacies that go into it. Yep. So I got a decent little, you know, safe place, we call it, online streaming on TikTok. And, you know, I become the hope dealer, not the dope dealer. You know what I mean? Like,
obviously, you spend time with me, I've got a hustler's mentality, I've got a way of talking at the street, it is what it is, man. I can't stop the way I walk and talk. It is what it is. So I come from you don't have to fucking, you don't have to have half a head, and you realise, man, he's fucking dealt some shit in his time. So when I transitioned over into the positive world and started raising awareness of drugs, drug and crimes, putrid, well, then people were like, obviously he's a hope dealer. He's not a dope dealer. So it just stuck. It just really come out of nowhere. It just stuck. I think someone said one day, Gaz, if you ever end up writing a book, you should call it From Dope Dealer to Hope Dealer, and then so that slogan just stuck. And then the boys were coming over to TikTok because, other lads that it becomes sort of trendy, man, that if, you lived a pretty extreme life of crime and you got over it, you could use social media as the tool of the trade and start push a positive message and raise awareness that the life you'd just been through shit. So there's, I won't drop names, but there's a lot of guys that, have got mad followings and doing huge things in the community. But when it comes to TikTok, being a new app, it's got over 5 billion downloads or something, you know what I mean? Half the fucking world's got it, and it started taking off, and especially the last couple of years. These boys obviously, marketing teams or branding or, anybody that knows the knows says, get the fuck on TikTok, man. That's where it's happening. So these boys were coming over. So I had a place where we were all in the same sort of fucking industry. We come from the fucking drugs, jail and crime. And I was there pushing a positive message. I was the hope dealer. So I automatically noticed that these guys were all hope dealers too. You know what I mean? And I was like, yeah, come over to my joint. So we used to hang out and do live streams. And I've sometimes 3, 4, 5, 6 boxes going with all ex-criminals, from drug dealers, importers, to fucking bank robbers, to murderers, to you name it. You know what I mean? But they were all over that life, and they push a positive message on the back of it. And so it was a no-brainer. Bunch of hope dealers, sitting on TikTok, pushing a positive message, talking about this life shit. Rather live the good life than that shit life that we all come from. Well, a bunch of hope dealers has to be the Hope Cartel, doesn't it? It was just a no-brainer. From there, the Hope Cartel was born, man, and then I just ran with it. We all had our brands, and we all do our thing, and everybody's pushing their message, and they got their niches, and they got their experiences and what they bring to the table. And mine is, I'm a convicted drug dealer, you know what I mean? Come from a gang life, street life, all that bullshit, nitty gritty shit. Occupational hazard is the street's going to chew you up and spit you out. And so I was the hope dealer, and Hope Cartel was my brand. So I registered that as a with an ABN, as a registered business, and I'm running with it, man. I'm going to run with it. Hope Cartel's the shit. I distribute merchandise all across Australia. We're about to do it international. And man, I'm the hope dealer. I'm TikTok Garry, the hope dealer, man. Owner of Hope Cartel, professional hope dealer. You know what I mean? Who would ever fucking thought?
And it's doing well, man. And by the way, the merch is super comfortable.
Thank you, bro.
It is quality.
Yeah.
Quality threads, man. So
yeah, man. Just Google Hope Cartel, man. You'll be able to find the merch.
It's all you got to do. Just Google Hope Cartel. If you need to find where to get it, it's pretty simple.
Yeah.
Hope Cartel.
And hit the website up, man.
Yeah.
Get it out to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. What's so now you're distributing internationally, like you're some sort of legal Pablo Escobar. What's the similarities between when you used to deal dope and now dealing hope as a business model?
Not much, bro.
No?
No, apart from it's positive, negative. The ripple effects from poison in the streets. It's a pretty shit product, karma's, the universe ain't going to work with you.
Yeah.
Hope is helping people, not hurting them. Man, but it's a product. At the end of the day, I just switch my product up.
That's what I mean. So the business model is quite similar in a way with the way you go about your mindset and moving your chess pieces. It's just that you don't have to have all the foot soldiers and all the different bits and pieces.
Yeah, bro. You hand me any product, man, and if I hyper focus on it for long enough, I'll get it out there, man. I'll flood the joint. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I love that.
That's cool, man. How do you keep growing without losing TikTok Garry? Because like I said before, TikTok Garry is a brand as much as Hope Cartel.
Yep.
And TikTok Garry came before Hope Cartel, but people tune into TikTok Garry. So how do you keep growing and TikTok Garry remains?
Bro, I think it's I like to silver line shit, yeah. So I've got to find a way of going. It's going to be okay.
Yeah.
And the way I do that is where a lot of social media influencers or people doing content fall off. They trend, and they start trending. The algorithm pays their way, and next minute they're nowhere to be seen. It happens a lot, yeah. I think the lucky thing about my journey is, and this is my way of silver lining it, is so I stepped into this fresh off the street, boned out with the clothes on my back, and that's pretty much the whack, yeah? It's like watching a kid learn to walk. Do you know what I mean? So like, you know, my next thing, I've just got to go have my license taken off me for 4 years while I was playing up in the street, so I'm just about to go get my license, man. I know fucking hundreds of people on social media, if not thousands, that are going to celebrate that. TikTok Garry just got his license. He's really free now. He can get a car and get out, you know, do proper content, you know. And this is only the beginning, you know, from, you know, starting with nothing but my clothes on my back and grabbing a phone and just fucking spitting chips at it and dropping it, to then, you know, started to fucking get a bit of traction, to then creating an income off TikTok, you know, from them spent that income on merch, you know, to, you know, went from Airbnbs to rented a little room out in the country off a friend. Then from there, went and got a little unit, you know what I mean? In between, had to get another Airbnb. Then went and got a little unit. That was pretty cool. Little 2-bedroom unit. Me and my dog, we had a little backyard. Now I've got a beautiful house. You know what I mean? Front porch, beautiful backyard, gym, streaming room, you know, kitchen, lounge room, all the necessities. You know, people have watched this along the way. You know, a registered Hope Cartel is a business. You know what I mean? Merchandise is going out the door. Every time I flip a batch of merchandise, I go spend that money on more merchandise. You know what I mean? Money makes money, you know? So they're watching all this. It's like a fucking real life, you know, documentary. I'm doing what kids should do at 18 years of age. Do you know what I mean? 21, 22, 23. But I had to go through a shitload of life experiences to get me where I am today. So the real ones that know what I'm about, they're loving it. You know, every goal I tackle and I fucking succeed on it, they're cheering in the background, go Gaz, you know? So I think, you know, TikTok Garry, to answer that question, TikTok Garry as a brand is watch me bloom all the way to a rehab centre. You know what I mean?
That makes a lot of sense. So
yep.
We're still witnessing the beginning. This is still the birth.
Yeah, bro.
You know,
100%.
like you're still learning how to crawl.
Yep, fucking.
You know, like you don't have the license. You got to go get the license back.
Yep.
So many things to get back to some form of independence.
Yep. And the reason why I registered it as a business, I could have just kept pumping merch, but I want to do this the right way. So obviously I'm going to have to pay my taxes on it. You know what I mean? I've created multiple sources of income through social media. So now it was a no-brainer to do the right thing and do what everybody does, as you should learn to do in your early 20s. Or, you know, when you first get apprenticeship or whatever, and that is pay your taxes. So I registered as a business, so I can't go no wrongs. I don't even fucking, you know, like my seatbelts, you know, I won't even jaywalk for fuck's sake. You know what I mean? Like, I'm doing this the right way. Yep. You know what I mean? As much as I keep it real, I swear and talk about, you think I'm still fucking active, but I'm far from it. You know, I'll probably, man, like dead set trips me out because I walk into a restaurant or into a milk bar, whatever, down the street. I'm probably, like, you look at, you know, all the heads around, and I'm probably the guy that fucking breaks the law the least. You know, like, fuck nothing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, like, I'm not going to cheat. This one, I'm doing it proper. You know, this is my last shot at life. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm going to make sure it works. I'm going to do it the right way, not the wrong way. You know? Yeah. That's
incredible, man. So TikTok Garry as a brand is still just getting warmed up.
100%. Yeah. You know, and if I haven't gone viral yet, I fucking will when I own a rehab centre. Mark my words. You know. Then that hope's going to be knocking on everybody's door. You know, I'll be planting the seed in everybody's head. You know what I mean? Yeah, because that's going to be social success then, isn't it? You know, that's going to be actions speak louder than words.
Exactly.
From social media influencer to social success.
Yep.
And why I love what you do so much is along mine and Danny's journey in our business of Inside Out Coaching, we're trying to get the community to normalise the fact that people are going to end up with addictions.
Yep.
And we need to embrace those people, accept them in, and help them to heal. You know, and it's been it was a lengthy transition to get mental health into that space where we can, you know, openly come out and say, look, I'm struggling with depression. I'm struggling with anxiety. I've got PTSD. And everyone gives them a warm embrace. It's all right. We're here. We support you. We got your back. We're still not there with addiction.
No.
You know, and that's very much what we're trying to get happening. You know, it's like, if someone's got an addiction, let them be open about it and go like, guys, I'm struggling.
Yep.
I'm struggling. Can I get some support? Yes, you can.
Yep.
You know, like we've got mental health days now in businesses and organisations. Like there is
They're in an EBA. They're in an
There is-
enterprise bargain agreement. So
days off just for mental
Paid.
health. If you're struggling, you take a paid day off.
Yeah.
I think the same support in a different way should be given for addictions.
Yeah.
And the community needs to, instead of going, that's a crackhead,
Yeah.
go, how do we help that guy?
And that's 100% right. And I hate, like, we can go deep with this, but that's why I do what I do, you know, like, it's one of the reasons, because it needs people like ourselves that have been through life experiences to help them people. Because the truth of it is, drugs give the police jobs. Those jobs the police have put people in jail.
Yeah.
And those people in jail are fucking making a huge racket for the government.
Yeah.
I hate to say it, but it's the
So-
truth.
But it is the
Prisons
truth.
are money makers. They are massive.
They're private
money
enterprises,
makers. They
billion-dollar
are.
enterprises.
100%.
And the minute they got rid of slavery, all they did was switch it out with the prison system. Let's not
100%.
fuck around
No,
here, eh?
that's true. You know, like, if financial year, man, if you think the government's not walking away with a massive profit from those prisons, you fucking,
Yeah.
you know, you're pissing in the wind. So the truth of it is that those addictions are feeding those prisons.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Which is
Yeah.
feeding their pockets, you know? So, but they
100%.
can't stop people like us stepping up to the plate
Yeah.
and using the internet, which is massive, so vast. You know what I mean? Like, getting people off it, bro. You know what I mean? We can help, you know? But it all starts, and I wish I had a magic wand, Jordan, you know? Danny, you deal with it too, you know? It'd be grouse to just say, come here, I'll tell you how it fucking works, and I'll fix it for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the key to it is, man, is we can't do shit. We can plant a seed and we can talk to the cows come home until they've made their decision. People need to make their mind up. 100, not just half-hearted, I want to get off it. Because you know what I hear all the time? I hear, I want to get off it when they're on it. As soon as next day they wake up and they need a fucking fix, they don't want to hear about it.
No.
Yeah.
Do you know what I
It's
mean?
like two different persons. You're talking to the pipe or the pip
Yep.
or the fucking pin.
Yep.
Right? You're either talking to that or you're talking to the person.
Yep.
But most of the time you're talking to the pipe, pip or pin.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So, you know, you want, and there will be a time that, you know, life's a gamble, you know, like I say all the time, it's a roll of the dice, and they're going to go through that roll of the dice over and over and over again, and eventually the house is going to win. And I hope that more than less come forward and say, you know what, I'm fucking done on Barley's. I worked this shit out.
Yeah.
This is some fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
I want out. And we can help. That's where we come into play. That's when you're going to hear my content. That's when, you know, Danny's words or Jordan's words or myself are going to go, they're going to resonate.
Yeah.
And that we can really pull you out of those trenches. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? As long as your mind is made up. But the thing is, like I said, it's a gamble. At those rock bottom places, people OD and never come back.
Yeah.
They commit suicide. They go to prison for a very long time. They lose their mind to drugs. They go through that much trauma. It's very hard to get them back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's those dirty, dark places, those rock bottom bits of life it's a real fucking do or die situation. It's a double-edged sword. It can go either way. So many I know that haven't got another chance. Do you know what I mean? But so I would say to you, when you have a fucking bad day and you're out there and it goes to shit, all right, fucking slap yourself in the face and go, I'm fucking over this. I'm not having another fucking bad day. How the fuck do I get off this shit? And then reach out. And there's plenty of resources.
And there's plenty of resources.
That
I
will
mean,
help
like,
you,
Jesus,
you know?
there is a big cartel of cartels, just
Yep.
like the Hope Cartel, Inside Out Coaching, Danny Shannon.
Yep.
The list goes on and on and on.
Yep.
Whether it's online or offline,
Yep.
there is people that have seen the depths and darkness of despair for whatever's gone on in each of their lives that now have the light to shine and help others out the shadows. And all you got to do is look around and find someone, anybody that you connect with that's pushing a positive message,
Yep.
and reach out to them. And I guarantee you, at some point, once they have the time, they will respond to you.
100%.
At the end of the day, like, I've seen it while you've been here, Jordan's seen it while you've been here. Your phone's off its fucking head. It never stops.
Yeah.
But I know that you always work through trying to get back to people,
100%.
and I'm sure it's the same for Danny Shannon.
Yep.
Even on a smaller level for us, like, we get a lot of people messaging us. And
We have the blueprint.
yeah, we do.
We have the formula. You know
Yeah,
what I
we've
mean?
seen behind
If
the
you-
curtain.
Yeah, we've seen behind exactly that. And if you want to get off it,
Yep.
we can definitely show you how it's done.
Yep.
But you've got to want. We can't make you.
You gotta
get
want
off
it.
They've got to want it.
You gotta
first.
want it. You can't, like-
that makes our job so much easier, doesn't it? You know what I mean? When someone that I want your help, please help me.
Yeah.
Do you really want my help?
Yeah, do you really want it, or do you want me to do it for you?
That's right.
Like, some people just won't participate in their own rescue.
Yep, that's
and,
right.
And at that point, that's something for all of us in our different journeys with what we're doing now on the positive side. it's quite hard for us because we actually have to know when to just go, I can't help you.
Yeah.
Because it affects us. Our energies get taken and our consciousness can get lowered, which means we're not effective for the people that do need us, that are ready for the help. It's not that we're giving up on them, but they ain't ready yet.
Yeah.
Right? So what would you... I mean, I know it's a bit of a cliche type of question, and we talked about it the other day, and I think you even put some content out about it the other day. But like, what would you say to young people who are taking their first steps on a criminal path? Because at the end of the day, you're not going to talk them out of it. But what would you say to them at the start of their criminal journey, anyway?
Yeah. So I've been asked this question a bit, and I have the same answer because I can only deal with it through my life experiences.
Yeah.
And that's why my brand's pretty raw. Because I keep it real and it's no bullshit. I'm not going to fucking sugarcoat it, But some would say, well, settle down, especially a mother that son's just gone to juvie or something like that. I understand. I do get it, but I'm not the gonna say what you want guy. You know what I mean? I'm going to tell you how it fucking is straight down the line. And these kids, all right, sweet. You're a big boy. You know what I mean? You want to get out? You got hair on your balls? You know what I mean? You want to get out in the real world? You think you're all that? You want to prove to cunts and yourself what you're about? Go for it. Jump in the deep end. Be prepared to drown, right? Because no one ever wins in that life.
No.
It doesn't happen, all right? So you're signing up for a life of failure in the end. You might win a bunch of fights. You might win a bunch of cases. You know what I mean? You might fucking, sell a bunch of drugs, You might be the fucking tough cunt for a bit of swagger and the girls want ya, whatever the fuck it is, yeah? But it's going to end up, it's not sustainable. You know what I mean? Your losses are going to end up outweighing. You might have more wins than losses, but the losses are going to end up outweighing the wins. It's just how it works. I have never spoke to an old head that says, my fucking 40-year life of crime paid off. Because you know what? Your missus left you. You haven't seen your kids. You know what I mean? You spent 20 years in prison. You had a meal one day and it was gone the next because the cops come through and fucked your shit up. You know what I mean? You can't beat them. You can't, it's not going to happen. You can't beat the universe and you can't beat the system. And even if you are good enough to beat the system, well, let me tell you, the universe is going to fucking serve you up a dish of revenge and that shit's coming straight out the freezer. Like, it's going to be cold as fuck, And when the universe sorts you out, it sorts you out like a motherfucker. So I would say to them, go for it, but just know what you're signing up for, which is you're going to hurt your loved ones. You're going to destroy a bunch of relationships along the way. You're probably going to get shot at, stabbed, have your head jumped on. Do you know what I mean? It's all going to go down. Years in prison. You're going to see every bit of abuse, poverty you can imagine. It's ugly, 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 which means you're going to stack a shitload of fucking trauma.
Yep.
You know what I mean? You're going to get storing up that bad energy. You're going to come out the other end a broken man. You know what I mean? Like veterans that come back from fucking war. Rattled. You're going to be fucking rattled. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you're going to say, enough's enough. And then you got to try and climb up the success ladder in the real world, which is going to be really fucking hard when you've dug a massive trench for yourself in the real world from that street life, So I would say to them, and the only reason I say this is because listen, if someone had said to me as a kid what I'm trying to say now, man, as soon as their back was turned, I would have robbed the cunt.
Yeah.
Straight up. You know what I mean?
100%.
I would say, who the fuck are you talking to, man?
Yeah.
You know who the fuck I am? You know what I mean? If only he had said, all right, bro, you got me covered, but the universe is going to fuck you, I'm out. You know? You know what I mean? Like, because that's what I need to hear. So, go for it. Do your thing. Because you're probably not going to listen to me.
No.
And at the end of the day, you're going to have to learn from your own mistakes. As long as I really hope you turn those mistakes into lessons and you get a chance to turn your life around. Because so many don't. The amount of friends I've buried along the way, the amount I've lost to prison for the rest of their life, the amount that have OD'd, committed suicide, you name it, man, washed up on drugs, lost their fucking mind talking to the wall. You know what I mean? Fuck, it's crazy.
Yeah.
So, it's a gamble, man. It's a gamble. I thought I was good enough to go all the way. And, I ended up fucking tapping out, man, saying this shit ain't for me. What a shit career choice. You know what I mean? And so, and I've met fucking way harder men than me that have said exactly the same thing. So, I've yet to met a man that has come up through the ranks and thought he was all about it, and not gone out with a bang. Because that's it. If you're going to go all the way, then be prepared to die or go to prison for the rest of your life.
Yeah, it's crazy.
You know,
it's crazy when you actually think about it like that, right? And you actually quantify it in your head and realize, what the fuck does anyone get into that for? Because when you look at it, there's nothing good that comes from it other than the ego from the money.
Yeah, bro.
Other than that, it's constant negative vibes and threats to your fucking life
Bro, it's
all the time.
Straight facade. It's a straight facade. It's
Yeah, it's actually
fugazi. You know what I mean? Because when you're in the streets, everybody's like, yeah, let's get fucking, mad fucking car with thumping rims, and look at my fat chain, and see my girl, she's hot as, she's a stripper, and I'll call the boys up, I'll get your joint run through, all this shit, you know what I mean? Like, bro, when you go to fucking sit in the courtroom, and you sit in the front of a fucking judge, and he sentenced your ass to prison, your boys aren't there. Your girl's not there. She's fucking smoking some cunt. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're lucky to have your mum or your fucking nan there crying. And then you fucking hit the yard, yeah? And then you go to a cell. When you're in that cell, it's just you. Right? Anybody that tells me the first time they went to prison, they sat in that cell for a big sentence, they're sitting there like, I don't give a fuck. Bullshit. It sucks. It's not fun, man. Not cool, guy. All right? And then you hit the yard, yeah? When you hit the yard, you got killers. Straight animals everywhere. Men that have just fucking, you got bank robbers, you got murderers, drug importers, the elite of the criminal world. They're gonna, you know what they're gonna do? And they're all off to life to prison. You know what they're gonna tell you? The streets are bullshit, man. But you don't hear it till you hit the yard. No one in the streets is saying this. It's all fucking bullshit. Everybody's talking it up like it's fucking sick. And when you get in there, you see experienced fucking criminals that have lost their life to prison, they've lost their missus, they've lost their best mates, they've lost it all, they haven't seen their kids for 20 years. They're gonna tell you, kid, this fucking shit's bullshit. You know what I mean? And then you're sitting there and you go, what the fuck? This is all fucked up. You know what I mean? One thing's going on in the streets, and I hit the yard, I'm on my pat. I haven't heard from the boys. I haven't heard from my girl. You know what I mean? There's no money coming in for me, none of this, blah, blah, blah. And then the older heads are telling you, bro, it's shit. You know what I mean? So that's what it is, man. Like, and I mean, every motherfucker has to learn that if they're going through the steps of being a criminal. But let me tell you, I'll tell you, mate, you might want to heal, because actions speak louder than words, so I can say it all day. But when you hit the yard and you find out the streets aren't really what they said they were, and then you're sitting in the yard with the real deal, and man, at the same time, some of these guys might be like, telling you it's no good, but as soon as you turn your back, they're probably going to want your shoes too, because they haven't had a good pair in the last year. You know what I mean? You come in with nice kicks, brother, you're just going to be preyed on straight up. But they will tell you the streets are bullshit. This life's not worth it. What are you doing here, kid? And so, bro, the kids need to know that. You know what I mean? They really need to know it's all a fugazi. It's a facade, man. It's all smoke and mirrors. Yeah.
It's really good information, man. Like to spread, because kids need to make an informed decision. Look at your options. Choices are a gift. So you got to choose wisely. But like you're saying, acknowledge the terms and conditions before you fucking go through with anything.
Yeah.
Because you're talking about there's terms and conditions. You can be served. Yeah. Or there's terms and conditions out here doing the righty.
Yeah.
Which completely different scenario, man. Polar opposites.
100%.
So make an informed decision.
Yeah.
Acknowledge the terms and conditions, because they're completely different. So before you make your choice, check the consequences.
100%. And I want to say to any kids or anybody listening out there that's fucking still dipping their toes in the pond, you know what I mean? You can keep it G. You can still be a cool cunt. You still keep it real. You can still walk down the street so the girls are snapping in their neck your way with a bit of swagger, and you don't have to be fucking shit up. You don't have to be risking your life. You know what I mean? You have to be risking going to prison, hurting your loved ones, none of that. Do you know what I mean? A real man doesn't have to fucking prove nothing to no one. He knows what he's capable of. You know what I mean? So when they're ready to stop proving shit, they're good. You know what I mean? Like, they'll be good. That's it. I'm good, man. I don't have to fucking prove nothing to no one. I don't have to fuck up. I don't have to break the law. I don't have to wreck shit. I have to run amok. It's none of that. I'm not a gronk. You know what I mean? Because a real man will be there for his family. And that's another thing I say, like, motherfuckers will say, like, don't you fucking say that about my mum. You what? You gonna spit on my mum? I'll take your head off. You know what I mean? I'll get my boys. You're fucked. And then what? You go to prison. If you get got, like these days, man, cunts talk. The old school crook is not around anymore.
Nah, not in the slightest.
Cunts talk in the jack shop, not a problem, man. You know what I mean? It's a standard manoeuvre now. And so then you go into prison, yeah? You get lagged on, you go into prison. You caught a case, you go into prison. What are you doing for your fucking... You can protect your mum then. Do you know what I mean? So like what, you fucking... Everything you believe in, I'll fucking die for my family. Let you talk about my brother and talk about my mum, my missus, whatever it is. Bro, you're no good when you're sitting in a cell.
No.
So you want to be a real man to protect your family? Walk away from the fight and be there for the long run to protect your family. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Walking away from the fight and saying, Mum, it's okay. I walked away from that fight. The cunt was talking shit. But I walked away from that fight because I'm going to be here for the next 20 years to make sure you're safe. That's gangster. You know what I mean? Not sitting in a cell for fucking 3 years because you fucking filled in full of holes. Then what? While you're sitting in a cell, she's probably going to get robbed. Do you know what I mean? Like, so, yeah, man. Keep it real, keep it G. and walk away from the fight and be there in the long run to protect your family 100%. Fuck the prison shit, you know?
Marathon, not a sprint.
Yeah.
Man.
Fuck catching a case, man.
Yeah.
Some bullshit.
Speaking on the topic of mums, bro, like you speak super highly of your mum, and we discussed her briefly before, and you know how she's a bit of a spiritual woman too, and just the quality of nature she has as an individual. What does your mum mean to you, and what is the biggest thing she's taught you?
Yeah, man, mum's a legend, man. You know, mum's cool, man. Mum's a good woman, man. She's a fruitful member of the community. You know, she's been a nurse all her life. So as long as I've been alive, she's been a nurse. She works with terminally ill kids. So kids that, you know, got cystic fibrosis, you know, leukemia, stuff like that. You know, they're usually not going to see over the age of a teenager. And she worked in Royal Children's Hospital, and now she works for a foundation called Dial an Angel. So she's a nurse/nanny. So, you know, she'll have to go away on holidays or something with her patient and the families, you know, to look after them. So, you know, she does them ones. And she's a beautiful woman, man. She's a hippie, you know what I mean? She's a full hippie woman. And, yeah, man, she's grouse, you know, mum's grouse. I love mum. I've got a lot of respect for her. Do you know what I mean? She put her through some hard times, man. Some sleepless nights, you know what I mean? But now she can finally fucking have some sleep, you know? She can go, yeah, my boy's doing all right. Took a while, better late than never. But yeah, man, she means a lot to me, man. And she's a good woman, man. You know, she just, you know, the men she chose to have children with, you know, they probably weren't fit. You know, like my dad, man. I could speak for my dad, you know, especially, you know, he just was robbed of his potential from alcohol, you know? So he left mum posted. You know, mum's got 3 boys, a mortgage, working a couple of jobs, and, you know, $20 was ham sandwiches and fucking petrol, man, and we were broke again, you know what I mean? But she did her best, man. She had to play mum and dad the whole lot, you know what I mean? She had to do it all, you know? And she had 3 boys. Like, her house was a jungle gym, you know what I mean? Like, you know?
Yeah, because you got 2 younger brothers.
Yeah.
They're younger, right? You're the oldest?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, okay.
Yep. Yeah, man. So, you know, mum did a good job, man. She's did a good job in the end, you know. I'm very proud of her. She's very proud of me, hopefully, you know. I'm guessing so anyway. It's about time. But, yeah, she means a lot, man. Mum means a lot. And she's a good woman, man, you know. I never seen drugs in our house. You know, I never seen fucking, you know, mum with a bunch of guys wasted or, you know what I mean, any of that. Mum worked her ass off, you know. But just no money in the home, man. That affected me. Do you know what I mean? That wasn't her fault. It wasn't even my dad's fault, man. The government fucking served him up poison on every fucking corner. You know what I mean? And said it was legal, so it was okay for him to have a beer.
Yeah.
Ruins communities, man. And, you know, so I don't blame either of my parents. But money not being in a home, that fucking, me having that extreme look on life, you know, I need a little bit extra than the normal kid.
Yeah.
You know, I can remember, you know, not jumping a puddle or climbing a tree wasn't enough. You know what I mean? Like, I had to go smash an abandoned house window. You know what I mean? Just to get a buzz. That's all, man. I wasn't a bad kid. I just need a little bit extra, you know? A bit more to fucking, you know, to get a thrill out of. And with that genetic makeup right there, no money being in a home and a little bit extreme look on life was enough for me to step into a life of crime, you know? Step into the streets and look up to the older kids with the chains and the Nikes and the fucking fat rims on their cars and that and think, that's gangster, I'm getting that. Little did I know, man, it was a shit career choice because occupational hazard, as we know, he's either dead in jail or washed up on drugs, you know? Yeah, so it's a shit career choice, man. Fuck all that.
Which you managed to tick 2 of the 3 of them off. Luckily enough, we didn't get the first one, otherwise we wouldn't be sitting here today.
Yeah, that's correct.
I may say one thing with something you just said then, and I reckon your mum would agree with me because my mum says the same to me, and I've put my mum through the ringer in my own ways, in a lot of ways, not been good either. I actually don't think no matter what you've done in your 42 years, Garry, that your mum she was always been proud of you. Because my mum tells me the same. She's like, you know what, with all the dumb shit you've done, all the times you were getting arrested on the drugs and all this shit you got into, she said, I was always proud of you. You're my son. I'm unconditionally always proud of you and love you no matter what dumb shit you did.
Yeah.
No one will ever get in the way between a mother and their son.
Yeah. I think there becomes a time where 100% they love us. It's unconditional love, and they're proud of us. But you know, they have to take a backward step.
Of course, 100%.
And just let life sort itself out, and us sort ourselves out. Because you know, I'm thinking of parents out there that have got kids that are away, you know, running amok, you know, And they think, what do we do? And you know what? You need to step away. Do you know that's? You know, it doesn't mean you don't love them.
No.
But you can. You know, it's very easy for a child to take advantage of the love of a parent.
Yeah, definitely.
And then enable, you know, their negative behaviour.
Yeah.
You know, so you need to just say like, I this is how my mum did it to me and it worked. You know, so I don't agree with what you do. I love you, but I'm not going to be here for this bullshit.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean as soon as you switch it up and you want to do the right thing, I'm going to be here times 10. Do you know? But until then, I've got to take a backward step because this is hurting me, you know? And I think that's the truth of it, you know what I mean? It's hard because it's almost like a parent mourning the loss of a loved one, you know, like loss of a child. It's like they almost just got to let go. But what else can you do? Do you know what I mean? Because it's up for us to learn. You know, from the first time we're a weed hacker and someone says, don't touch that, it's Bernie's. Do you know what I mean? What do we got to do? We don't listen. We've got to go touch it. Until you find out that
the red button.
that fucking burns, you know what I mean? Like, so that's what life's about. And they're just going to have to learn, you know, their lessons, you know what I mean? They're going to have to learn their lessons, make mistakes and turn those mistakes into lessons. And hopefully you give them the tools to slither through the cracks and come out the other end, you know?
Yeah,
which it definitely sounds like that's happened with you. Like, it's incredible how some of the best attributes of our parents rub off on us, and we don't tend to pick up those pieces until we go through certain events. And you know, you described your mum before as what I would say is a deeply caring person.
Yeah.
You know, very much about the people in the community and and serving and
for sure
and doing a lot for these kids. And I think you're not too far removed, man. Like, you're deeply caring for the community 100%. And what you're doing right now. And
thanks, mate.
You know, it took a lot of colourful things to go through for you to end up being probably just like your mum.
Yeah.
In a beautiful way.
There's a measure of man or woman for me when it doesn't matter what they've done and the fucking whatever's happening in their life. I know when a human being is deeply emotional and cares. Yep. And you know how? Animals. Yeah. And you love animals, right?
Fuck yeah, man.
Like, when a human doesn't love animals, I'm sketch.
Yeah, man.
I'm concerned a little bit. And they could be the normal one that hasn't got any of these stories. Yeah. But behind closed doors, I'm concerned. Yeah. If you don't like animals. Yeah. Because sometimes I wonder these days, I feel like the animals are the humans and the humans are the fucking animals.
Well, I think, what is it? Old people, animals. Yeah. And kids, they need us. They need positive role models. They do. You know what I mean? Because they can't do it on their own. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So it's up to people to step up to the plate and make sure the old people and the pets and the kids have got a safe little journey. You know. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, shout out to your mum. She's she's raised a good man. Doesn't matter about what's been. It's the impact you're going to make on the world now will be a tsunami versus the couple of drops that you may have made back there.
Thanks, man. Thanks, guys. Yeah, it means a lot, you know. As we know, I'm still early days, so, you know what I mean? I don't know how many homes I broke up and how many homes I'm going to have to mend. I'm not sure what the ratio is. I'm just signed up now to do the right thing, push hope, be an inspiration, drop my content, plant a seed in people's heads so when they're ready to listen, it changes their thought pattern and they start going getting life to the fullest, you know. That's my deal, and I'm going to do it all the way to a rehab centre. And hopefully that's enough, man. Hopefully, you know, I end up on a good note and I've outweighed the damage I did, you know, from being a greedy little fucker in the streets, you know.
You're in the second innings, brother. You're 42. You're just getting started, right?
Yeah.
Before we start wrapping this up, and the Lock Dog's got a couple of questions around this out, I actually just want to read something to you, and I'm kind of reading it to myself. I spoke about it today when we were down the beach.
Yep.
About late bloomers.
Yep.
And it was this.
Yep.
So-called late bloomers get a bad rap. Sometimes the people with the greatest potential often take the longest to find their path because their sensitivity is a double-edged sword. It lives at the heart of their brilliance, but it also makes them more susceptible to life's pains. Good thing we aren't being penalised for handing in our purpose late. The soul doesn't know a thing about deadlines.
Yeah, I love it, man. That's awesome.
That's the thing we were talking about before, and I wanted to read that before we round this out.
Yeah, cool.
Because that to me, man, sings volumes to what I've got to know with you over the last few days. And I just wanted to kind of finish that off before I let the Lock Dog run this out for the next couple of questions.
So, during the human experience, we continue to flourish, we continue to grow. What can people expect from you next? Whether it's in business,
Yep.
what you put up as content, what's big, what's coming, what's in the pipe.
Man, I'm just going to keep leveling up, So we've got plans on, of course, there's a lot of plans, brother. There's a lot, I don't want to let everybody, I'll give them a good look behind the curtains because that's part of my brand. But there's some things I want to keep close to my heart because there's a lot of poachers out there.
Yeah, 100%.
Do you know what I mean? And I think my brand is organic. It's real. It's raw. And I don't need no imitators coming along trying to pretend. You know what I mean? If you're about it, you're about it. So I would say on that note, expect for my content to just get better and better and better. Yep. My streaming to get better and better and better. Yep. More merchandise. I want these things I can talk about. I want to do like a subscription. It's like a Patreon page or something.
Yep.
So, people can sign up and get me one-on-one, you know what I mean? For a small amount over a month or something, every month to sign up, And, and because I've put myself out there, I've pushed a bunch of shitload of free hope. If it's like giving out free baggies.
Yeah.
And when they want more,
yeah,
they're going to start paying. Well, that's what it's got down to. I pushed out a shitload of free hope, man. And I haven't created a stable income. What I've done is I put merchandise out there, and by streaming on TikTok, if people like what I'm doing and they're all about it and I've helped them along the way, they can donate, or buy a hoodie or drop a gift while I'm pushing rankings and stuff on TikTok. So I've created incomes and I've done well out of it. Let's not lie about it. I've created incomes, but it's not a set wage. Do you know what I mean?
It's not a guarantee, right? You don't know who's going to buy the next hoodie. You don't know if anyone turns up in that room and drops any gifts.
That's right.
So you need those kind of recurring incomes, those residuals that you can see and are coming because X, Y, and Z have locked into the ABC.
So, I feel like, as being a hope dealer, I step straight from the streets, dealing hope, putting it out there for free, flat out. I've stepped up now to the, I'm pushing weight, but it's hope we're talking about. I'm pushing weight, and standing back a bit. You know what I mean? I'm not so much hands-on, not standing on the corner.
Yeah.
I'm more calling the shots. And I've created multiple sources of income. And now, I want to sort of step it up to a commercial stage. Do you know what I mean? I want to push hope on a way bigger level. So content needs to clean up, streaming needs to clean up, which is it's done plenty. I've done plenty of cleaning up along the way, so I'm happy with it where it's at. But it's only going to get better. I'm never going to be content with where it's at. I've always got room for improvement, which is awesome.
Yeah.
My journey along the way is I've got my license coming up. So that's going to give me more freedom. Me and my dog can hit the beach first thing in the morning, do content, stuff like that. More merchandise. Being able to focus on me one-on-one, so like I'll be able to, set up a situation because, man, pushing free hope, at the end of the day, you've seen my phone, it's gone out the wazoo. I'm flooded with, I try and keep up, but it's really hard to keep up with how much is coming in.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
So I sort of need to separate the men from the boys.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And who really needs my help, I might have to,
who sees value in it?
Yeah.
Like at the end of the day, when people get
it.
free shit,
Yep.
they don't respect it for the person they're getting it off or themselves.
My
We found the
content's
same with
always-
our business.
My content's always going to be out there for free, isn't it? You know what I mean? That's always going to be there for free.
I mean, you don't even monetize your content.
Nah, not yet.
People don't even know that. They probably think that you don't even when you talk about organic, fuck me, bro. You're like a walking compost heap.
Yeah, 100%, huh? Yeah, it is. It's
Fucking
proper.
crazy, bro.
Yeah,
I couldn't
proper.
believe it when you said that.
Yeah.
Like, you fucking racking up 500,000 views. I don't know how this shit works, but I'm sure it goes off of like views and shares and whatever and likes. It's off his fucking head and you ain't even monetized it.
Yeah.
It's a walking compost heap.
Yeah, man, proper street, just kept it street, but use social media as a tool of the trade. And then also I'd like to do, so we did a meet and greet.
Yeah, I seen that in
So
Melbourne.
we did a
That was
meet and
dope.
greet. There's talk maybe, about doing a meet and greet in every state.
Yeah.
And then I'd love to get like a seminar going on. So, hire out a hall or something, have some meals for the night. And then, a few boys get up and tell their story, push some hope, you know what I mean? The inspirational stories, but it's live, instead of it's in your face. And then, afterwards, you do some photos, hang out a bit, you know what I mean? Some stuff like that. So, yeah, man. And that's just off the top of my head right now. It's stuff I can talk about. There's a lot I can't, you know.
Yeah.
And man, just going to keep getting it. Just keep leveling up, you know, creating multiple sources of income at the same time, helping people along the way, and do that all the way to a rehab center, you know.
It's exciting, man. It's cool. It's
So
cool.
like, the business model is similar, really. Pushing dope and hope, because you started throwing out the free baggies, the free hope, and then slowly you've leveled up to moving weight, and getting to a point where you have to make this more of a business sense.
Hey man, if I got $1 million tomorrow, do you know what I mean? Then I'll just open up a rehab center. I'll put us in bed for nothing, and do you know what I mean? I wouldn't have to charge anybody for anything.
100%.
You know what I mean? But it's man, at the end of the day, this is my career now. This is my business. This is my life. This is what I do for work, and I think I do it well enough to say I deserve an income, you know?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Most definitely. All right, man. Last question, and it has been incredible along the way.
Yeah.
What does living from the inside out mean to you?
Oh, man, it's huge, isn't it? You know, some of the best in the business I'm talking about, so doing the right thing and not the wrong thing, but once upon a time they did do the wrong thing, and now they do the right thing. It all starts with working within, doesn't it? It starts with working inside. You know, you have to really put in that work on the inside, man. You know, some of the best I know, they eat well, they make sure they're sleeping well, they fucking train, you know, they do their meditation, their yoga, they read their positive books, listen to their positive podcasts, you know, do all these things. And that's all working from the inside first, isn't it? You know, they address their trauma. You know, they go through trauma therapy. You know, I've had to do the same. I've addressed my shame and guilt. I've had to forgive myself to become the person I am today and to walk this journey, you know. It's a crazy road, you know. So, yeah, man, working. It's still something, as you know, working with you boys this weekend, hanging out with you, and some of the things we've had in play was totally working on the inside.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Me and Danny this morning, didn't we? And Jordan, you were there. We walked the beach, and then we said, man, let's kick these shoes off and ground ourselves,
Yeah.
You know, and these are
shoes
the
and socks off and on the sand for 10, 15 minutes.
And these
feel
are the
that
things
energy.
that help, you know, feel that energy, you know, and like from the, you know, the flotation tank I did, and we went for a walk with Well Team, men's mental health group, and, you know, Jim Ryan, sat down with him and did the havening.
Yeah.
You know, all these things, it's working on the inside, you know, and then the ripple effects from that is, you know, it shows. So 100% I've had to do it along the way, and some of the best in the business have been doing 5, 10, 15 years, do exactly the same thing. You know, you talk to any go-getter in life, and no one's fucking, you know, no pun intended, because I've got a bit of a TikTok belly, but no one's overweight. You know what I mean? You know, sleeping in, you know what I mean? Fucking, you know, watching fucking Netflix, you know what I mean? Eating Hungry Jacks, you know what I mean? It's not happening, man. You know what I mean? It's not the way it works.
You don't put water into a high performance engine, do you?
That's right, you know? So yeah, the inside out is, I totally get it, man. You know, working from the inside out, it does start within 100%. And then, you know, I suppose the work you do on the inside the success ends up, the ripple effect from working on the inside, you see the success on the outside.
Vibrates outwards.
Yep, 100%.
Yeah.
Well, it's been fucking emotional. What a fucking journey it has been since we picked you up from the airport on Friday evening to now. Fucking hell, bruv.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, man.
All right. So, I suppose the podcast is sort of about me, so this question's about me, but you know what I mean? So like, I don't want to sound too fucking cocky, but with what you've seen on social media, and what you've seen, you know, TikTok Garry and the Hope Cartel, and me being a Hope dealer, my content and all that stuff, and you know, from the early days of War Stories to what it is today, and meeting me at my house and we had a chat, and then coming out here and spending the weekend staying at your joint, and you know, then we're going through the processes of getting to know each other, ground ourselves, center ourselves, and then come here today, and you know, me maybe I've mentioned bits of my story that maybe you guys didn't know about, you know, or haven't seen that side to me. What do you see in the difference from what you see on social media to what you see now? So, you know, do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I suppose you met Garry Wright, not TikTok Garry, owner of the Hope Cartel.
I mean, I met Gaz.
Yeah, you met Gaz, that's right.
I met Gaz.
And what do you think the difference is there? Is there much of a difference?
I think there's a massive difference in a certain way.
Yep.
And I think the only way that you could really understand that is if you have a certain level of consciousness yourself, to be honest.
Yep.
I believe me and Jordan both, and he'll have his own view in a sec that he'll tell you. I feel like, I tell you what my most favourite moment of this last 5 days has been for me.
Yep.
Me and you sitting down eating sushi yesterday, and we were just chatting about the consciousness levels.
Yep.
And you shared about your mum and that beautiful story that we had.
Yep.
And I just seen this. It's hard to describe, but obviously the way you show up on social media, I still think you're that person that I've got to know here. But I just seen like a completely different energy from you when you get to just be you.
There's a lot softer side, isn't there?
Man,
Yeah.
softer,
Yeah, I get it.
and just it's brightness, and it feels. You know, yesterday, bro, like when you sharing and me and you just sat and shot the breeze, like
Yeah.
you just felt safe.
Yeah.
And when I mean that, like I'm not talking about like because of your past, but I felt like you felt safe.
Yeah.
Like to just go, oh, like almost like, fuck, oh, cool. And it's ironic because actually the minute we started being able to do that, people started coming over and say hello. But
Yep.
I just see a very gentle man.
Yeah, and that's what I think, you know, the way I look, you know, I've got a fucking head like a soccer hooligan. I've got tattoos on it. The way I talk and walk, because I've lived that life, I know no other way.
Yeah.
It is a bit intimidating. But under all that, man, I'm just a fucking good cunt, man. Like, straight up, I've learnt to love and not hate. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like you said, I am a gentle cunt, you know what I mean?
You're
I have got a big heart, man.
Yeah, you're a
know?
gentle man. What about you, Lock Dog? What is your view?
Mine's actually probably the opposite to yours. I don't think there's a massive difference, and I'll tell you why, and that's because of probably the way I've been trained to work with people. You know, I'm trained to look for and find the best in everyone.
Yep.
So when I seen your content, straight away I'm like, what's his intention behind this?
Yep.
And that links me back to a man with a big heart.
Yeah.
You know, so I kind of knew off the bat, meeting you, that I was going to get to see what was behind those intentions.
Yep.
You know, that big heart,
Yep.
that universal man, you know, that go-getter,
Yep.
probably got a lot of love for everyone.
Yep.
Like, and you can see, like online, you're more to the point.
Yep.
You know, I want to share a message and it needs to have a point, and I
Yep.
want it to land and have major impact.
Yep.
And so off the bat, I'm like, what kind of person would want to do that? A great fucking man. And that's who's shown up here in Adelaide.
Thanks, guys.
You know, and you know a little bit about my story, and we've come from similar backgrounds but different. You know, I was probably more in the victim side of behaviours you used to be involved in.
Yep.
But even in that world, like anyone I come across that was hard, all hard men were Pop-Tarts, man.
Yep.
They had this hard exterior shell and they were
Yeah.
fucking squishy in the middle.
Yeah, it's like you
Every
see
time.
you see a hard, you know, you see a gangster with his kids, or like me with my dog, or you know what I mean, like me with my niece, or you know, like it's like, you know, you see a gangster with his own children, man. You think, man, you're not the hard cunt, we know, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're a big softie, and I suppose so. That's what it is, man. Don't judge a book by its cover. You know what I mean?
100%, yeah.
you
So,
know?
so yeah, I wasn't too surprised. I think I definitely got what I expected.
Yep.
You know, anyone that's happy to get online, be vulnerable, share stories, try to motivate, inspire, and change the direction people are going in.
Yep.
That's not a bad man. That's
Yep.
a good man.
Yep. Awesome.
And I think that's definitely who sits here today.
It's good to hear, you know, because I still wonder, you know what I mean? Like, it's good to hear that, you know. It makes, sometimes I think, you know, is my message coming across? Am I still talking too tough, you know? Because I'm just trying to speak their language. I speak my language and I know their language. So I think it's best to speak their language, you know? That's part of my fucking strategic move, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, if I clean it up too much,
No.
are they going to listen?
No, of course. No, I
You know
get
what I
that. I've worked I've been around in my previous life around the same type of people that I then ended up working with inside of prisons.
Yep.
Right? Very seriously violent offenders, gang members, murderers, everything. It's really odd because all of them have done whatever and their eyes show the story. Like they got these war eyes.
Yeah.
It's weird, bro. You've got really soft eyes. Like I can see, like I know, you know, I can recognize what's gone on.
Yeah.
But I think because of the universal journey you've been on from all sides of the equation,
Yeah.
your eyes are different to all of the others that I've seen, bro. You have you can see that their eyes that you didn't want to fuck with once upon a time, but they're softened now. And a lot of the other people we've worked with, they're not.
Yeah, you can see it, man. Like, you're right. We walk into a prison, work with these guys. You've got eyeballs full of hate,
Yeah.
full of love.
Yeah.
And you can see it straight off the bat. It's like, this guy fucking hates the world and he hates himself.
Yeah.
bro.
And it's like, no, this guy wants to get out and love himself and love the world.
Yeah.
And
You
that's
can see it in the face.
I totally get that, man, because it's something I dealt with, you know. Like, I used to look at people and think, bro, there's not a good bone in you. You know, you're bitter on the world.
Yeah.
You've been hurt that much,
Yeah.
and now you're just going to hurt everybody.
Yeah.
It's a survival mechanism, you know. And one thing I worked out on this journey that I've been on in life, you know, especially where I am today, you know, I had a rare trait, which was I could hate just as much as the next bloke, but I can love just as much as the next bloke too. And you don't usually see a lover or a fighter, you know, a lover or a hate. You see someone that's got they're just hurt, man. And man, my hate was all business. You know what I mean? It was not good for me to bring my heart to the table, you know, to work, you know. So I just fucking showed up and made sure I went to the maximum extreme to prove a point that I wasn't here to fuck around. Do you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, you know, I've always been that guy to take my shirt off for another person. You know what I mean? That wasn't the business I was in. Do you know what I mean? So, like, you know, I showed love in that business, but in different ways. Do you know what I mean? So, like, and now I really get to just fucking show, man, like, I'm just a proper good cunt, man, trying to help people, you know?
I think it's a testimony to your mum.
Yeah.
Because I think what she's done, which is what my mum did too in her own way, is she didn't try and prepare the path for the child.
Yeah.
She just prepared the child for the path, and then the child went off and did whatever and at least had the tools.
Yeah.
And I think that sings volumes, especially when I think of the clients, all of these different clients, they didn't have that mother figure like that.
Yeah.
I think it speaks volumes for what your mum has done, the fact that you've got all that love alongside all of that hate. And it's something that I used to run as my own little catchphrase, like you have with your Hope Cartel stuff in the prisons, to the point that even all the across the Northern Territory had it pinned up on all of the parole officer notice boards.
Yep.
Thugs need hugs.
Yeah.
It's 110% right.
Yeah.
Like, and we proved it again and again, right?
Yeah.
Like, they're just missing someone to say, I see you, bro. I got you, man. Like, it's all good, man. Come here.
Yeah.
Like, thugs need hugs. And I think your story and what you've just said there sings volume for your mother.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks, Mum.
Yeah. Thanks, Mum. Well, before we round it out, Lock Dog, you got your little quote there or anything that you want to leave us with as we head on out of here today?
I didn't bring a quote with me, only because I wanted to finish with those incredible lyrics that we spoke about before, and I think that's how we should end it.
Let's do that. Let's do that.
So if you do the honours of reading it.
I will. Thank you, Garry Wright, a.k.a. TikTok Garry, for coming and spending this time with us and for building what I feel is a real cool friendship now between us all.
Fucking oath.
Yeah.
It's been my pleasure, boys. You know, thank you very much. You're an awesome bunch of dudes, man. You're a cool crew. And, yeah, man, it was an honour to be here, spend some time with you, make some good friends, and also push a positive message off the back of all that. Hopefully, if we can change this podcast, just one person's life, our job's well
We've
done.
already won.
100%.
Yeah, man.
Well,
shout out Hope Cartel.
Shout out Hope Cartel. Man becomes legend. Legend becomes myth. Myth becomes failure. And that becomes gift. We will see you next time on the InsideOutrz podcast. Thanks for joining. And remember to hit the subscribe and like and share buttons, because if you keep helping us, then we can keep helping everybody else in the community. Take care of yourselves and keep shining, motherfuckers.
Nobody is gonna hit as hard as life. But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how.
See you next time on the InsideOutrz podcast.